It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome and happy Friday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically get into all the things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, whatever's trending. These good old internet streets, we chat about it on this good old show. So, before we get started with today's hot topics, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so, oh wait, let me remove that for a second because I had something open. Yeah, we got a lot of tea to spill. I know I told you I was gonna wait till Saturday, but I was like, let me just give y'all an early show because it's too much going on, and I don't know if I can wait. I don't wanna wait. So, of course, we got to talk about all the drama surrounding, what's coming out with Liam Payne. So I'm gonna fill you in on all that. Plus, we have some tea on Garth Brooks. We have an update on Deryck Whibley going in on his ex-manager who is denying all those SA allegations that Deryck has in his book. We're gonna talk about we have some drama, of course, with this whole thing about Safaree and Mena. And Jen Aydin put her foot in her mouth because she said she was asked to return to next season's Real Housewives of New Jersey. And Andy Cohen said, I don't know where she got that information, but nobody's been officially announced to be a part of the season. Plus, we got to talk about Cyndi Lauper, who said that there's no feud between her and Madonna, who, sidebar, was at the Billie Eilish show last night. Then we got to talk about Jennifer Lopez, who is talking about there's more stuff coming out about her in this new album or whatever the case is that she may be coming out with, may not be coming out with. We'll entertain it. But if this is true, I'm like, sis, I'm glad you finally listening to me because I've been saying it for all this for the longest about what you need to do with this next record. Plus, there's a Broadway performer by the name of Zelig Williams. This has been going around on all the social media platforms, especially like people that I follow, like Kevin Ortega Rojas has been posting about this. But Hugh Jackman has even stepped, up and is asking for help to find this guy who's been missing for about almost 2 weeks, and we haven't heard any kind of media nobody's been really speaking about this thing. So I was like, I wanted to bring this up. Plus, Giorgio Armani is opening up about being a homosexual. I'm like, who knew? But then again, are we surprised that there's designers that are homosexual? So, if you have not already, because I was like, damn, I forgot I was supposed to open up this thing with Safaree in them. So let me open that real quick because I know it's video that I wanted y'all to see where because he came out and said that Mena been putting paws on him and all this other stuff. So we gotta show y'all that video and all that other stuff. So I wanted to have that out. But anyway, so yeah, if you have not, and then plus if anything comes up throughout the show, definitely let me know. We'll chat about it because while we were doing the show the other day in real time, all this stuff was coming out about Liam passing away. Excuse me. And what irritated me about the whole Liam thing, I feel like if you're not familiar, if you're a pundit or whatever, and you're not, or even on social media, if you're not familiar with who somebody is, don't talk about them. Like, stick to the rivers and the lakes you used to. If all you want to do is talk about stuff from the neighborhood talk in the shade room on your shows, or maybe I shouldn't tell other people how to do their show because I wouldn't want somebody to come over here to tell me how to do mine. But I say what I said. But on the other but on the other thing also, I had somebody who was in my timeline on Facebook that was like, "Am I the only one that had to Google who Liam Payne is?" I'm like, and you had to post that for what? Because you want attention? Like, if you don't know who a celebrity is, I mean, that's fine. But do you need to like write? Oh, I had to Google who he was because I didn't know who he was. If One Direction is before your time, I mean, it's before mine. But me being a pop culture commentator, I know who they are. But anyway, let me look at the comments. Oh yeah, I know. I know Madonna was there. I had to drink this Red Bull. I was like, do I want to do coffee? I mean, Red Bulls are worse, but child, I am exhausted. Especially after working at Billie Eilish show. Which, can I tell y'all, I was in my feelings last night. She was up there performing. First of all, she put on a great show. And I wasn't supposed to do this. I did take a picture of the stage and everything, and I sent this to some people. I don't never post nothing on my actual timeline because the Guardian gets pissed off if you post video pictures, whatever, if you're not an attendee. You can't be working and posting stuff. You will get in trouble for that. So I'm real careful about that. So that's why I'd be like, if there's a celebrity spotting, whatever the case is, I have to tell y'all versus it being on my page. Because they literally have people who look at people's Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff to see what's going on. So, yeah, she was there last night, but she was in the 100. She was not on the floor because there was no seating on the floor. It was literally like a whole 360. Oh, damn, I hit my mic. It was a whole 360 setup. Like, it was like one big rectangular stage. You had like the band and stuff in the middle. There was fire, the one big jumbo screen above her. She put on an amazing show. She ran around that damn stage. That's probably why she had them damn Jordans on last night. And, you know, what was that, red and yellow jersey and some basketball shorts. I'm like, see, this is why these little girls be running around here dressed like a lesbian, because that's what Billie Eilish be dressing like. You expect people not to ask about your sexuality with them clothes? I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I don't want that to sound, well, I guess that's what people do when they do the unconscious bias, where it's like they'll look at somebody how they dress and then all of a sudden they make assumptions. But yeah, the show was amazing. I was trying to hold back some tears during some points. I even like one during one of the songs, and I can't remember a lot of it because it was just so much going on last night, that she literally stacks her voice in real time. So she's like, I need the arena to just remain silent for like 30 seconds. And she literally just stacked her voice, and then they record it, and then she would just sing over it. So I was like, this, now I can see why this girl won all them damn Grammys and Oscars. She's really talented. So I mean, we all knew that, but when you see how she puts on her show, and the only celebrity that she brought out was Phineas, which is her brother, and I'm like, duh, of course she's gonna bring him out. But that was like more towards the last 15 minutes of the show. And then, of course, I won't say of course, but I mean, I guess it would be obvious. She did perform her song Guess with Charlie XCX. And a lot of people was wondering if Charlie was going to be there. And so I was having conversations with some of the fans, and they were like, but yeah, she's in LA right now, because I heard that Katy Perry and a bunch of them was at the Sweat Tour over on the West Coast. So Charlie was not going to be there. So she had to be on this jumbo screen. And then there's like a small little stage all the way on the opposite side. So she had like two stages, one of the big stage, and then she had a tiny stage. And I was like, during this, I know she about to pop out on that other stage. So she did jump up on the smaller stage, and then she just performed that song. And then she goes through the audience at one point. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Madonna was there last night with her boyfriend, and I'm assuming that they were in the 100s and not in, because they were on the floor. She was not standing up. Not in that whole situation. You said, did you see Taylor posted a video showing her? Mm-mm. No. Taylor who? Swift? Let me find out she out here being provocative. So no, I didn't see that. But yeah, everybody, funny enough, Robert was the one that hit me up, like screenshot and showed me a thing like, Madonna was at your, well, he said, Madonna, was that you were in the same building last time? I said, it wouldn't be the first time me and Madonna was in the same building. But yeah, I didn't see her. I heard she was there. So I found out after the damn fact, because there was just a lot going on last night. But nevertheless, I'll be at the Billie Eilish show again tonight. It was a lot of fun. It was a good show. And so now I will be able to like relax and take it all in again. But it was a lot of little girls and their feelings. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the show and let's get in on this whole thing. So I'm sure you already heard by now about Liam Payne. You know, we broke the story over here in real time. Like, as we were doing the show, literally, like, I don't even think we were 10 minutes into the show, and then the news came out about Liam Payne having passed away in Argentina. And so I had to do the research. I was just going by what we had so far. So a lot of things have come out since then. You know, I was also sent the photos of when we were in of the hotel room where someone took pictures. I'm sure it had to be somebody who was a staff member who took pictures of smashed television. There was drug paraphernalia all over the desk, well, all over the table and stuff in the room. There was like foil. It looked like heroin. Could have been some booger sugar too, and among other things. And they said there was some stuff in the bathroom as well. So he was clearly out there partying, but the reason why he was out there is because he was visiting Niall Horan, who was touring. Then there was some news that came out that I think he was overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, which probably caused his relapse. So I'm assuming, based off of the information that I got, the reason why he may have relapsed is because A, the whole cease and desist from his ex-girlfriend who went and posted something or another on TikTok. I believe it was like a couple of days before he passed, maybe like 48, 72 hours before. And then I had heard early in the week that his record label dropped him because his music wasn't doing well. I was like, because one line said that, oh, his music was doing great. I'm like, but if nobody gets dropped from a label if your music is doing well. So apparently he's on Capitol Records, same as Katy Perry, and I believe Universal Music. But Universal Music, this is what irritates me about this industry. Why is it like one big conglomerate is owning like everything? I don't like that Universal has so many of their hands in everybody's stuff. It's like with Drake and J. Cole and all these other people, and then with them and the whole this Instagram deal that they have where they get a percentage of that. And then with him, it was like his music really wasn't doing well, and they was pretty much saying that he was having a bit of an identity crisis. He couldn't figure out like where he was fitting within the whole post One Direction situation, and he was pretty much envious of his other bandmates. I mean, he loves them and everything. But he was envious of the fact that they were having this success and he could not figure out how to make the solo success work in his favor, because while all the other members were, oh, I love the music, but I want to maintain my privacy, as you see like with Zayn, you see that with Niall, and you see that with Harry. Um, Liam loved the spotlight. Liam liked the fame. Liam, to me, seemed like what's the word? It seemed like he put too much emphasis and put too much value in who he was based off of the roar of the crowd, how successful he was, that sort of thing. So it's like the fame, the industry consumed him. And we saw like there were people who came out like Jay Thirlwell, Camila Cabello, Sharon Osbourne, who said that the industry failed him. Like there's been a lot of people who have come out and given their condolences. And I know it's like this is definitely hitting people hard, especially Gen Z and younger, millennials who grew up with One Direction. So I could totally understand this. That's like if a member of NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys passed away, I definitely would have, felt the way, because I totally get how that is. So I always say let people have a moment and stuff. So with all this, they were saying was that he jumped off the balcony from his room because it was a 911 call that was made, and from someone who worked at the hotel. I think it was the manager or whatever. And they said that he's in a room by himself with a balcony. And I heard that there's footage that is on Twitter. So it wasn't just TMZ that was out here with their foolishness, which I already cussed them out. And it wasn't just me, because a lot of people got online and was like pissed off about the whole situation. And we're going to get into the whole TMZ story in a second. But in regards to the detail, they said that he jumped the balcony, but someone said to me that they believe that because he was, he was hysterical, he was going off, he was throwing a tantrum because he wanted to go in the pool. And they wouldn't let him in the pool because he was under the influence. And now, lest we forget, when it comes to people who are on drugs, we've heard one too many times of people who go into the pool under the influence and they end up drowning. Whitney Houston, her daughter, Bobby Christina, who else? Matthew Perry most recently. So when we look at situations like that, those are three prime examples of like water and drugs do not mix. So when you have someone like Liam Payne talking about he want to go in the pool, it's like, oh wait, so you want to drown yourself? Not on our watch, or whatever. I'm not saying it was intentional, because I don't think people who are under the influence are thinking, oh, I'm just gonna go into the pool and just like drown myself. I don't think that was the intent. He probably just want to go get wet and have a good time. But and some people were talking about like the timeline of the video that he posted on what was it? Oh, Snapchat. But I'm like, timeline, schmimeline, like regardless of the fact, I feel like when it comes to certain situations that, when people turn the camera on, they could put on, a performance of the lifetime. And then when that camera's off, it's like the mood changes real quick. So I don't think that a time of, oh, well, he seemed this way on camera. I'm like, looks can be deceiving. A lot of times people put on airs, people put on performances, he is a performer. So people put on all kinds of stuff. Not even if you're not a celebrity, regular people do it. It's like you put on this whole situation when you're on camera, and the minute you turn, turn that record button off, your energy and your whole demeanor can shift at the drop of a hat. So, according to People, it says Liam Payne jumped off the balcony of his hotel room before his death at age 31. And what I think I didn't get to this part because I was just trying to remember everything on the top of my head of what I wanted to say in regards of this. That's why I should take notes, but I always try to remember it from the brain. Somebody hit me up literally before I went live and said that do they think that because they refused to let him go into the pool, that he tried to dive into the pool from the balcony? I don't necessarily know the setup of the hotel, so I don't know. But they said he fell into the courtyard. He cracked his skull. There was internal and external bleeding. I believe that there is a autopsy being conducted as we speak. And until we get that information, we won't know until then. And I don't necessarily know the overall setup of the hotel. So I don't know if his balcony was facing the pool. But I could totally get that. Like, there are people that have done that, where it's like they'll jump off the balcony and try to get into the pool. And some people have made it, some people have not. Because I've seen those videos online. But so they basically said Pablo Policio. I think that's how you say it. Policicio. He must be Italian. I mean, that feel like an Italian last name. But anyway, so we'll just go with Pablo because I don't want to butcher his last name any more than I already have. The communications director for the Buenos Aires Security Ministry shared the update, which was also published by the Associated Press following the One Direction singer's death on Wednesday, October 16th. It says Payne was announced dead after falling multiple stories at the Casa Sur Palermo Hotel in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Policia Federal Argentina confirmed to People. And now it's weird because I know they're saying like it's a third floor. Like that, I mean, I don't think people could die from falling out of a third story building or whatever the case is, because that's not like a high fall. But it also depends, but then again, it also depends how you fall. Like, or how you, not how you fall, but how you land. Cause you never know. Like it could be three, I mean, 3 stories, 2 stories, but it's like it depends on how you land. If you land and you fall on your neck, you could, do something. They said like he cracked his skull. So it said that police had been called to the scene shortly after 5 p.m. local time, and Payne was said to have died shortly afterward. In comments translating to Spanish, Alberto Crescent, the head of SANE, Buenos Aires Public Emergency Medical Services System, said that Payne suffered a fracture at the base of the skull following the fall. So basically, like you said, he fractured his skull, cracked his skull. An investigation is currently underway to determine the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. So, they're pretty much looking further into it in regards of this case. I was like, hold on, let me pull up a picture of Mr. Liam. Okay, so it also says per 911 call translated by outlets including Sky News and the BBC. The hotel's chief receptionist alerted police after becoming worried about Payne's behavior. Now, according to a translated La Nacion transcript, the worker said that the musician was intoxicated and presumed he was under the influence of alcohol and drugs, insisting that someone needed to come urgently to the location. Throughout the call, Payne's name was not thought to have been mentioned, but they could put 2 and 2 together and figure out that's what they were talking about. Now, per Sky News, the worker mentioned that the guest's life might be in danger because he was in a room with a balcony, saying, "We're afraid he could do something that threatens his life." This is what the manager, who said his name was Esteban, added, according to the outlet. The BBC transcript also stated that the worker said Payne had been trashing the entire room before his death. Now, people around the world, have continued to pay tribute to Payne, who shot along, to fame alongside a lot of the members of One Direction, Harry Styles, Zayn Malik, Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson, and they were on, the X Factor UK back in 2010, but they said Styles, Malik, Horan, and Tomlinson are yet, well, as far as we know, the only one that I know right now, because per this article, Zayn is the only one that I know has spoken out. Niall, I saw recent pictures of him out with his girlfriend walking the dogs. So, and then unfortunately, he leaves behind a son who's 7 years old. His name is Bear, who he shares with his ex Girls Aloud singer, and who also was a judge on X Factor UK when he auditioned, Cheryl Cole. So, condolences to you, Liam. My heart goes out to him and his family. But so now let's go into this mess. Let's go into TMZ behind. You know, we went in on them the other day, but let's go in on them again. I ain't gonna windmill y'all too hard because you know that video is already up with me cussing you out. But here's the article. So the rap, you know, did a whole report on TMZ coming under fire over its coverage of Liam Payne's death, which included alleged photos of his deceased body. So it says now, while many have expressed outrage and surprise at the outlet's decision to publish the photos in the first place, others have expressed the opposite, as at JM Tenon wrote on Twitter. TMZ has always been like this, from Avicii to Liam Payne, sacrificing ethics just to break the news first. Now, we already talked about what he had died from. But here's the thing, because TMZ love doing this. We are the first to report this news. You know, if you ever read that, I'm like, first of all, it's great that you did that. First of all, y'all a bunch of damn liars, because many, not in this regard, because I've caught them how there have been other websites that I visit that scoop them on things, and they'll be like, well, we were the first. No, you weren't, because I got my tea from somewhere else where it's exclusive, but y'all hear stuff and y'all try to take the credit because TMZ wants to be the #1 news source for spreading entertainment news and gossip. Y'all are no longer on top of the food chain. No shade, but just saying. So they said that they were among the first outlets to report Payne's death. The outlet initially published photos that showed the singer's identifying tattoos on his body, a decision that sparked outcry on social media. Author Ira Madison tweeted, "TMZ, you're sick." Within minutes, the singer Alessia Cara echoed Madison's post on Twitter an hour later with her own, in which she wrote, "You're gross" at TMZ. It's the idea of the discussion that had to have gone down at TMZ, RE, what to do with the photos of Liam Payne, which disgusts me the most, Vanity Fair writer Chris Murphy wrote on Twitter. That just doesn't happen. Someone makes the call to post those photos, which is the least human thing you could do in the moment. RIP. TMZ, you know, oh, well, hold on, because while we go for that, let's transit. Should we put this old tired queen face up here? I can't stand this old bastard. But you know what? Let's go back to Liam, because Harvey got one of them faces you just want to like kick his damn teeth in. But anyway, you know, them old tired queens. But anyway, so it said TMZ has caught fire for its handling of celebrity deaths before. Now, in January 2020, and this is what I brought up to y'all literally when we talked about it on the show the other day, when I found out about TMZ, and this was just in passing, like I didn't even know they did this. I was just looking for something else, I think, pertaining to the Chris Brown story. And I happened to just, you know, open up my Instagram, and that the first thing popped up, TMZ, you know, takes down photos of Liam Payne body due to backlash. So of course I had to add that to the docket because it was all unfolding in real time, and I just gave my real, you know, unfiltered reaction. So this was the thing I told you. I was like, remember, they did this to Kobe when him and his daughter Gianna had, you know, died in the plane crash. How immediately they went up there and put them pictures up, and they faced scrutiny. So it's like, y'all didn't learn y'all lesson the many other times that y'all did it, so they must be real slow over there. So now in January of 2020, Vanessa Bryant learned of the deaths of her husband Kobe and Gianna through the website. And this is another thing that I think a lot of people are saying too, that they don't even think Liam's family even knew that he passed before TMZ ran with the damn news. How about giving people the common courtesy of getting the news from a medical person or his people that he was working with? But then I heard that he was losing a lot of, like, his team had pretty much abandoned him because Liam got dropped from the record label, and it was a whole bunch of other stuff going on behind the scenes. The ex-girlfriend with the cease and desist. You know, there was a plethora of things. He was overwhelmed with anxiety because of the legal charges that was going on with that. Plus, his label didn't believe in him, and who knows if they're gonna take the music that he already recorded, because they said that they shelved his second album if they try to do some slick mess and then do a post death. What's it, posthumous? I think that's how you say it. Release of that record. And when people even want to buy it, especially with you knowing now that the label was like, you know what, we didn't believe in the music, we don't care, you know, we were pretty much dumping him and not even going to put this second album now that he's dead, y'all want to capitalize. So it kind of makes me wonder, would the fans of Liam even consider wanting to buy the music? So yeah, she found out that her husband and her daughter passed away through TMZ. When a lot of people feel like that may have been the same thing about Liam's family. They didn't know until TMZ did what they did. Now, they said Bryant was first told by an assistant that 5 people had survived the crash. She soon learned the opposite was true. Saying, I was holding onto my phone because obviously I was trying to call my husband back, she testified. And all these notifications started popping up on my phone saying, RIP Kobe, RIP Kobe, RIP Kobe. Now, at the time, retired LAPD officer Tim Murakami tweeted, I am saddened that I was gathering facts as a media outlet reported that Kobe had passed. I understand getting the scoop, but please allow us time to make personal notifications to their loved ones. It's very cold to hear of the loss via media, breaks my heart. Now, in the same year, TMZ was criticized for reporting the death of Pop Smoke before his family was notified. News One also criticized how the outlet has reported the deaths of black celebrities in years prior. Oh, yeah, this is why I hate. Well, I don't want to say hate because hate's a strong word. So I can't stand TMZ because TMZ is overtly racist as well. And that's why they try to do their little TMZ hip hop edition. I'm like, y'all can sit and spin on that with that because nobody's getting their hip hop information from TMZ. They will go to the Shade Room. They will go to the Neighborhood Talk. They will go to Hollywood Unlocked before they go to some damn TMZ to get anything remotely black. So we do notice that there is a bias from TMZ when it comes to dealing with news, especially when it comes to people of color. So we don't get our information from y'all tie behinds over there. So yeah, and they said News One also criticized how the outlet has reported on the deaths of black celebrities in years prior. In 2019, TMZ shared surveillance video that showed Nipsey Hussle being shot several times. And in 2018, well, I've never watched that. And they said in 2018, the outlet published video footage of Triple X Tentacion's body in his car after he was killed. So, look, like I said before, I don't feel like I need to light into TMZ ass any more than I already have. You know, I already did what needed to be done when it came down to that before. So, if y'all want to watch that video, I do have it on my TikTok. I have it on my YouTube. I did a special little edit of it. It's all up on the social media platforms. You need to hear what I had to say about them. But yeah, shame on y'all. TMZ, y'all always been trash. I rarely even go to y'all, if not at all, when it comes to news. TMZ is not at the top of the food chain. I know y'all want to be the first to report, blah, 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 but most people aren't getting their information from you unless those are people that are still hangers on, that have been fans of what you do. But the way y'all go about how y'all spread news, you're disgusting. And it just baffles me how low y'all will stoop just so that way you can be a step above everybody else who, you know, has integrity, as especially when you're in a media space and you're being a journalist and you're reporting on news. And this is the side of the industry and doing media that I despise. I don't feel like I need to go and I don't want to look at the dead body and stuff. Now, when I was saying before, especially with the Israel Palestine stuff, that was voluntarily. Like, I did a thing. This is a thing you would do in your Instagram, in your settings, where if you want to get information that's political, heavily political and stuff, the a lot of the social media like Meta or whatever will block from you getting. There's settings that you can go in and allow, you know, all kinds of explicit stuff that you want to, that they try to shield you from, that you can have that coming in. So if you want to see stuff about what's going on between Israel and Palestine and seeing all the dead bodies of the kids and stuff, which I wanted to see just so that way I can feel how real that is, then that's a thing that you volunteer to have in your situation. But if you are someone who I'm just scrolling through my phone, and then all of a sudden you're trying to find out as much information as you want on your favorite celebrity, and then I just happen to come up in here and I'm seeing a dead body because TMZ wants the scoop. They want to be the first. Then it's like, yeah, you deserve all the backlash that you're getting. So I say all to say, what do you think of these two stories? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so I see we have a lot of comments, and I'm gonna get to those in a second, but I just want to finish all of this stuff regarding Liam Payne, and then we'll get to all the other stories. So, I mean, then I'll get to your comments. So I want to get to Zayn Malik because he posted emotional tribute to Liam, and he was real. And what I liked about Zayn's comment was that he was very much honest about, you know, their relationship. Because, you know, a lot of people go about R.I.P. my brother, blah, blah, blah. They'll say all that. But he was like, yeah, we butted heads. We didn't even like each other at one point. But so I like the fact that Zayn was very transparent in his feelings and stuff, and you could only imagine what he was dealing with. So yeah, a beyond devastated Zayn Malik has shared his emotional reaction to the death of his One Direction bandmate. So taking to Instagram on Thursday, the singer penned an emotional message to Payne, who died on October 16th at the age of 31. And let me pull that picture up from his Instagram. So this is the photo that he posted on his Instagram page. I'm like, that's so cute between these two. And if people start saying that it's gay, I'm like, go jump off a cliff. This is basically two brothers connecting. I feel like it's an emotional thing. And it's just like, you could definitely see that love for each other. And we should embrace and welcome men showing love and affection without it being resorted to sexual or gay or whatever it is. So when people say stuff like that, it's like, your daddy clearly didn't love you enough as a child. Maybe your daddy wasn't in the picture. You come from a single parent household and you just hate life. Wasn't given enough hugs. So he said, Liam, I have found myself talking out loud to you, hoping you can hear me. I can't help but think selfishly that there were so many more conversations for us to have in our lives. This is what he wrote alongside a throwback photo of the pair sleeping in a car. So I never got to thank you for supporting me through some of the most difficult times in my life. Malik then addressed the pair's tumultuous relationship, which included Malik throwing the late musician up against a wall during a heated argument, saying that even though you were younger than me, you were always more sensible than me. You were headstrong, opinionated, and gave no F's about telling people when they were wrong. This is what he wrote. Even though we butted heads because of this a few times, laughing emoji, I always secretly respected you for it. And I think a lot of times people do that. And I'm glad that he said that, because it's like, even when I know that we butted heads and I realized that you were wrong, I didn't want to give you were right. I didn't want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that you were right. But low key, I respected you because you said it like you meant it. And you took no shit from anybody or anyone, anything, anybody. So it said Malik called Payne his brother and said, I can't explain to you what I give to just give you a hug one last time and say goodbye to you properly and tell you that I love and respect you dearly. Now, Payne and Malik were members, of 1D alongside Harry Styles, Niall Horan, and Louis Tomlinson. So, now, Tomlinson also posted a tribute to Payne on Thursday, writing, I wish I got a chance to say goodbye and tell you one more time how much I love you. Payne, my boy, one of my best friends, my brother, I love you, mate. Sleep well, X. Now, despite finding major success, Malik and Payne had a famously complicated history. They said Payne made headlines in May of 2022 when he said that there were many reasons why he disliked Malik, but there were also many reasons why he will always, always be on his side, saying, you can always look at the man for where he is and say, oh yeah, whatever, that guy's a dick, right? He said on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast on May 31st, 2022. But at the end of the day, once you understand what he's been through to get to that point, and also whether or not he actually even wanted to be there in the band. I guess he was saying about the time because I guess he was feeling like Zayn wasn't appreciative of the fact that, what was going on with the band and stuff. They had that whole falling out and that whole beef with the band and everything. And Zayn was talking a lot of shit about 1D and all that other stuff. So it caused this rift. But I know since then, even with this recent album that he put out that came and went real quick because it wasn't that great. No shade. I like you, Zayn, but I need you to go back to kind of that soulful R&B pop mixture sort of thing. But this other stuff you doing, it's like nobody cares. But when he put out this recent album, I know when he was on his recent promo tour, he was talking a lot about wanting to make amends with his bandmates, and I think he was well on his way of doing that. Now, as far as whether or not Harry and all of them forgived him, that's to be seen, but he has put out the olive branch. So now, Payne quickly clarified his comments after facing backlash from fans and said that he didn't articulate himself as well as he could have, saying, I was saying that there will always be things we disagree on, but I will always, always be on his side. This is what he wrote via Twitter just 2 days after the podcast episode was released. That's family. Zayn is my brother and I will stand with him forever. Now, in addition to Malik, Payne's family also mourned the death and expressed how heartbroken they are over the loss, saying Liam will forever live in our hearts and will remember him for his kind, funny, and brave soul. This is what the late singer's loved ones told BBC just 1 day after his passing. We are supporting each other the best way we can as a family and ask for privacy and space at this awful time. You hear that, TMZ? Over than some damn time. And I say the same thing. Like, we haven't heard whether or not how Cheryl is coping with all this, because she has a son with Liam. And what is Bear going through right now? He's 7 years old, and I don't necessarily know the full extent of his relationship with his son. I'm assuming that they have a really good relationship. So that's gotta hurt when you're 7 years old and your dad's not gonna be around to see you do sports, grow up, get married, have children, that sort of thing. So it's like she's a single she's a single mother. And so I definitely feel for um Cheryl right now. So, like I said, so they said he is survived by his mother Karen, father Jeff, and sisters Nicola and Ruth. He was also a dad to his and ex-girlfriend Cheryl Cole's 7-year-old son Bear. Now, Styles' mom, Harry Styles, I should say, Ann Twist, paid tribute to Payne by posting a heartbroken emoji on Instagram and adding the caption, "Just a boy." Now, so that's all we have on all of this right now. Okay, so I'm trying to see what else does it say in here. Okay, so this is the National Criminal and Correctional Prosecutor's Office later told Page 6 that Payne died from multiple traumas that led to internal and external bleeding. Payne was in the South American country after seeing Niall Horan's concert on October 2nd with his girlfriend Kate Cassidy. The two continued to stay in Argentina before Cassidy left 2 days prior to his death. Payne skyrocketed to fame in 2010 after he auditioned for X Factor, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. So they said the band hit a bump in 2015 when Malik announced that he was working on his solo career and leaving the band. Payne, Styles, Horn, and Tomlinson initially attempted to keep the group going, but they ultimately went on an indefinite hiatus in 2016. So yeah, there was a lot of animosity because Zayn wanted to leave. I guess there were the butting of some heads, and the band was filling away because it was like, oh yeah, we'll keep it going as a quartet, but I guess it wasn't working. So they all kind of went their separate ways. And it's funny how Zayn was the one to leave and try to start his own thing, but the one who became the most successful was Harry Styles, who won multiple Grammys. He sold out Madison Square Garden. I think he did like 15 shows. We have a flag of Harry Styles hanging in Madison Square Garden for the amount of shows that he's done. So it's like with him, Billy Joel, a bunch of them, Fish, whatever they, we have people who do like little residencies and they sell out for, a certain amount of time. They get a flag. So it is definitely hanging at the Garden. If you ever come there, you'll definitely see it. It's up on the bridge. So as I said before, heart and condolences go out to Zayn. Shout out to all the celebrities who have spoken out, those who knew him, those who were a fan, and that sort of thing. So, and then also, last but certainly not least, I should say, Simon Cowell. Now let's talk about Simon Cowell because Simon Cowell was the one that put One Direction together. Remember, I believe not Liam auditioned twice on the show. He came the first season. I think he didn't get through or whatever. Second season came back. He was put in, I think as a solo act, he was put in One Direction. One Direction came in. It's funny how they came in third place on the X Factor and then they became one of the biggest boy bands on the planet. So it said that Simon Cowell postponed Thursday's Britain Got Talent auditions after finding out about his protege Liam Payne's tragic death. So there were supposed to be auditions yesterday and he postponed it because he was like, it's, I can't do the job. Like, I need a moment to mourn and process everything. So, it said Simon Cowell, who formed One Direction on X Factor and was one of their first managers, had responded to the news by halting filming for ITV's new series about Britain's Got Talent, which features Amanda Holden, Alicia Dixon, and guest judge KSI on the judging panel. The show, created by Cowell, was filming for its audition stage in Blackpool. Now, in a statement, Applause Store, who organized the tickets for filming, announced due to the tragic passing of Liam Payne, BGT has decided to postpone today's auditions in Blackpool. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. So, yeah, if there's any kind of situation that goes on, I'm sure what can happen is they'll reschedule. But just give people time to mourn and grieve the person who was in their life, who they were close to, and then they can come back to business as usual, if you will. So now they said so far okay, this says so far no members of One Direction has made a statement that they already have. So we already talked about the ones who did so far. So it says he was immensely talented, and as part of One Direction, Liam will leave a lasting legacy on the music industry and fans around the world. Our thoughts are with his friends, family, and all who loved him. This is a statement that was made on behalf of him. So it says the official Twitter account for X Factor posted, "We are heartbroken by the sad passing of Liam Payne." So what I basically just read was a statement from X Factor. I even think I have. Hold on. Now that's the picture of him when he was younger, when he came on the X Factor and he auditioned, and Cheryl was living for that. She's like, "I'm gonna get up in that, honey." But anyway, so I say all this to say, because I know there was a lot when it came to that whole situation. I just want to give you all the latest news. Of course, I will be following this story as it further develops. Once we get the autopsy, we find out what it was. I'm sure there was, unfortunately, drugs in his system. And it's really sad because it's like this is a tale as old as time. It's like a story you've heard. It's like people get chewed up and spit out in regards of this industry. Like, you really have to have a thick skin trying to make it in this industry, and the fact that how they build you up and prop you up is this amazing thing, and how they chew you up and spit you out. So it's just sad and unfortunate, him and so many other lost souls who just got chewed up and spit out by this industry. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So I was like, what the hell happened? I don't know. My computer was sitting there talking about that something was turned off, and I went to close it, and it just closed me out of everything. But anyway, um, let me see what everybody's saying, because wait, why is thank you? I'm like, what the hell is that? Okay, so now let me scroll on up, scroll on up, scroll on up. Felix says, I think it might have been fentanyl or heroin, or maybe there was fentanyl in the heroin. They did. We talked about that in the beginning. That he was dropped days before. So I'm thinking it was overwhelming. It was like, you dropped me from my record. My record label dropped me because my music wasn't doing what needed to be done, and they didn't like the direction that his music was going. To be honest, out of all the One Directioners, like I worked Niall's concert, but I wasn't listening to his music, so I was aware of the type of music he was doing. And then Harry's doing what he's doing. I did like Harry's House. That was the first time I actually started like really listening to Harry Styles, when he came out with that Harry's House album. And it's actually a pretty good record. So all the Grammys he was winning, and so well deserved. I know they still gagging over that album of the year award that he won over Miss Beyonce, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So they're doing really well, and I've always liked Zayn, but it was just like the music that he's been putting out as of late, I wasn't really feeling it. So, but yeah, it's just like, where does he fit in this day and age musically? And I do wonder if the record label is going to pull some thing and, oh yeah, let's put out the album because he's dead and let's capitalize. I feel like the fans will see through that and they'll be like, you're trash for that. He had a 5 album deal, but only did one. Yeah, and they said that first album, I guess, didn't really do what needed to be done, and then he released a song, and I guess it just went nowhere. But I guess the only one they believe in over there at Capitol, and they want to spend all the money on, is Katy Perry. Whatever, y'all see that album flopping. Hope it was worth the Capitol. The first celebrity death in the social media era. Then the One Direction statement sound like a reunion was planned for next year. Could have been. It would have been nice to see, like, if the possibility would have been that they would have put together something like that. I think he was lonely. I wonder why he had no one checking up on him. I mean, I was gonna say he had a girlfriend, but then again, you never know what people's intentions are. Yeah, this industry, you can get pretty lonely. Like, you surround your, and then when you feel like that, you welcome anybody in, and you leave yourself open for those vultures to come in and take advantage of the situation. So he had a girlfriend, but who knows what her intentions was. Just like maybe it was like that ex. I'm gonna write a book that's very much similar to my relationship with Liam and call it fiction. But okay, sis. I saw a few videos of him interacting with fans of Argentina over the last few days. I was like, he loves all the fame and the attention. One Direction never really reunited in 2020 for their 10th anniversary, like myself and other fans had hoped. They just acknowledged each other, and that was about it. Yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting for that to happen. Mm-hmm. It's important to note that they're not saying he committed the S word, so it's very much could have been an accident of him trying to die. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's why I said I need to know what the overall design of the place was. Maybe he was trying to dive into the pool and missed, because you're not thinking clearly when you're under the influence of drugs. And the person who was on the phone was, taking it all into consideration, because I'm sure that's probably not the first time something like that has happened where they've had to deal with an erratic guest at their hotel. The only difference is Liam is famous and whoever they've had to deal with is not. That's probably why they immediately thought of, oh, and they have a balcony in their room, so we need somebody to come over and, excuse me, and help him and possibly restrain him, because we're not equipped to handle this thing. This is where the medical team comes in. And then I also heard that they were talking about that they were searching for the drug dealer. And this is why I always say, like, if you're going to do your drug, I'm not going to tell grown people what to do. If you over 21, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm not going to say, don't do drugs, because that's not realistic. People are going to do what they're going to do. But if you're going to do drugs, this is why you have to, and I know it sounds so ridiculous, but it's like you have to go to people who you trust that aren't going to put your life in danger, because these days, the things that they put in drugs, they put all kinds of crazy stuff up in you. So you can't just be buying off of random damn people. The booger sugar ain't just filled with booger sugar. Now they got fentanyl, they got roach spray, they got all kinds of crazy stuff thrown up in there. And you don't even know what you put in your body. So now it's like when celebrities are dying, I'm noticing this ongoing trend of that people are buying, they're arresting the drug dealers. We've seen it happen with Michael K. Williams, then they're doing it with Matthew Perry. So it's becoming this thing now where it's like, okay, so whoever the person was that dealt these celebrities these drugs, you're going down as well. So I kind of wonder how many other tribute posts are genuine, because I really have a feeling he was lonely and depressed. Well, it always sounds, I always wonder the same thing. There's always a lot of people that are woulda, coulda, shouldas. Oh, well, we failed, or we should have been paying attention. Okay, well, woulda, coulda, shouldas ain't gonna bring him back. So, yeah, I saw that Robert brought that up, where they said that Cheryl's a baby mama. I'm like, well, here's the thing. On one hand, and this is no shit, I'm glad y'all calling a white woman a baby mama, because usually whenever y'all say it about black people, it does feel like it has a racial connotation to it. So that's why I don't mind too much. I don't know. I don't want to, that's why I was like, I don't want to come across with it that way, but it's like, I'm glad for once y'all calling a white woman a baby mama, because in layman terms, she kind of is. But she was his girlfriend. They were in a relationship. She had gotten pregnant, had the kid. A year later, they broke up. So at this point, she would be, in technical terms, a baby mama. But that's why I said I'm glad y'all just calling a white woman that instead of somebody black. Because, yeah, if y'all did that to a black woman, you already know the connotation that comes with that. You said Harvey Levin and his sources stay worldwide. Yeah, he got them all planted all over the place like a damn Scientologist. Harvey Levin has always been scandalous. He built his career profiting off. Exactly. Because wasn't he on that case or something or another? People forget that Harvey's a lawyer. And so Harvey Levin, YouTube removed the video of the jump and banned the channel. I didn't even know it was on YouTube. I know it was on Twitter. And people were telling me it was on Twitter, but I didn't know it was on YouTube. And as they should. They should ban the channel from doing that. I was like, are you people crazy? Like, I hope it was worth it for that 10 seconds of fame that you got to go viral by posting somebody jumping. But I was also wondering, because I didn't look at the video, I'm like, were there cameras in the hotel room? Like, where do they get footage of somebody jumping off a balcony? Or is it that cameras were on the outside face of the building and you could see him like leaping? Like, I don't know necessarily how it all happened because I wasn't watching. I said, this is his brothers connecting. There are big problems why men cannot express care for each other. Exactly. There are big problems. So I like the maturity of the fact that, you know what, they're showing them sleeping and all this stuff. It's not a sexual thing. But in America, you know, we like to make everything gay or sexual. I was like, you clearly didn't get enough hugs as a child. Guys should be able to show their emotions too. Sometimes people become addicts for emotional reasons, like being neglected or feeling like they need to keep everything inside. And they were saying, like, it's funny how, like, how they always told about it. He was very much upfront and open about certain things, but he it's funny how like you're saying like maybe he felt the need to keep things aside. So maybe in certain instances he was very much an extrovert, like when he had no problem telling people about themselves, or when you were wrong about something, he was very confrontational in that sense. But there could have been other things that he could have been very introverted about, and he didn't feel that he could express himself on an emotional level, hence why he resorted to drugs to cope. And I'm getting my Sigmund Freud bag over here. And it said there is a very solid YouTube channel connecting addiction to emotional neglect. I can definitely see that. I think that's why a lot of people cope and do drugs. That there's a sense of neglect, and so you cope in other ways. You self-medicate. You do all those things. So it's not far-fetched to think that. You know, I always try to be deep on this channel in situations. Even when we talk about these things, it's good to have these conversations because I don't feel like um enough people do. It's that people just spend more time trying to be sensational. They want to sensationalize what's happening and don't really want to dive deep with like what may have caused or what he was going through at the time. So I said I watched most seasons of Intervention, and it seemed I try to watch that show. That show be too much for me. So I was like, I can't fully like watch a show like Intervention because child, I'd be like my stress level. There was one that I saw something that was impacting. I was like on YouTube earlier today, and there was some video of some boy that was on a gurney inside an ambulance that was having like a panic attack, and you see like his heart literally beating out of his chest because he had just been assaulted sexually. And so he was like shirtless in the back of the ambulance, and you could literally see his heart beating and stuff because he was having like these overwhelming amount of anxiety. And he said, I have picked up on this as well. Um, it sounds like he missed the friendships they had when they separated. They separated from him too and cut him out of their lives. There could have been a lot of that, and I think a lot of people don't realize what that does. It's like, yeah, when you are, unfortunately, in this business, when you are in a band in a group and you've experienced some of the biggest highs of your life, and you become accustomed to it. Because there was a video clip that I had saw where he said how his addiction may have started. So at the height of One Direction's fame, um, they said that they had them locked in their hotel rooms because they wanted to keep them inside or whatever, you know, because of all the pandemonium and stuff that's going on out there. And I realize in this industry, they don't really teach you how to deal with that. And it's like, I can imagine like when it came to like Britney and the Backstreet Boys and all these other groups and stuff during my era of music and how a lot of these members deal with the pandemonium. Backstreet Boys still together, so they do what they do, and I guess they've figured out how to navigate it. Although AJ McLean has been very open about his addiction issues, and then you know, New Kids on the Block, they're still around 44 decades later, I guess, still doing their thing, but I don't necessarily know how, but they seem like they've got it together pretty much on the outside based off of what we see. But in regards to situations like this, they don't really teach you how to deal with this sort of thing, especially because One Direction is of the social media era. So how do they deal with that pandemonium, especially in the world of social media, the internet, phones, all that other stuff? So they don't teach you that. So he said that they would lock them in their hotel rooms, and he got familiar with the mini bar. So when you in there and then you're just for comfort's sake drinking alcohol at a young age when your frontal lobe and everything hasn't fully developed, that's where your addictions start. And so I think that that may have played a factor in that as well. And of course, instead of in the industry where you have people that are trying to help you not become an addict or whatever the case is, you have enablers and people who will just look the other way and encourage. And then it's like, oh, well, that's going to come out of your whatever. So they'll just restack the thing, restock the bar. And then it's like, oh, he'll just drink or whatever. As long as we can get them out on that stage and sing them songs, they don't care what you do. So unfortunately, they don't have people that are in the industry that have your best interests at heart that will try to keep you on the right track. They're just going to cover it up and things. Let's sweep it under the rug because I don't want to lose my job. So there's a lot of that. So I think that might have been also a factor of where that stemmed from. Because it's like we don't think about that. They lock these kids up like they're prisoners. And that's why I've gone back and forth. I was like, I would never want to have the career of a Beyonce or a lot of these mega performers, because the amount of like that prison that they're confined to, like we don't see. I don't think a lot of us take the time to really look into what these kids, or even when they transition to adults, what they go through and how their minds deal with that sort of thing. So it's sad. Okay, so it says I read that the book had a similar ending of the character's life. Really? That's crazy. You said the day the patriarchal system is destroyed, everybody's a free man and woman. Being a manufactured band, you are basically set together and they have different personalities and add teens. They were left alone to the wolves. Jesse Nelson has said they needed therapy to handle fame. And then add the industry saying our bodies aren't ideal or attractive, like me being me wasn't enough. Men do surgeries as well because of their team's ideal image isn't what's in front of them. And it's like, yeah, you have these people who, what is going on? Is somebody trying to sell stuff on my page? And so they said, men will do, yeah, and that's crazy. It's like, I don't think people should be out here doing all kinds of surgery, um, because that's going to damage, um, hold on. So I was like, I'm not gonna have nobody doing advertising. That could have been like spam. So um you gotta allow your bodies and your face and everything to settle, to structure, because you're not fully developed until you get, like I said, your man's frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until they're 25. So y'all shouldn't be at 16, 17 getting nose jobs. Can't y'all wait a little bit and then do like a little, I remember I was watching one video with this plastic surgeon and was talking about how, because there was stories about Drake having a nose job and Drake getting like fake abs like Miss Netta Man. How you got fat on how you got back rolls and abs. Make that make sense. So clearly he had the fake abs put in, but the fat is still around the thing. And it was basically saying that what Drake probably had was a little liposuction so he could define his abs more, which is nothing wrong with getting a little liposuction. Because there's hard to reach places where you got that fat, and if you got the money and you want to get some of that fat sucked out, you can. What's wrong with that? But then they said he had a nose job. The guy said he don't think he had a nose job. I don't think he did either. It's like he grew into his looks, because remember at one point he was skinny. And then it was asked if he had a BBL. He said, first of all, Dre ain't got enough fat in it, to even inject that stuff in there. And then he said, in the wrong hand, you could actually die from getting fat put into your butt. I didn't even know that. But that's why it was like with the whole Kim Kardashian. She's saying, oh, I don't have butt implants. Yeah, bitch, you don't have butt implants. However, I would not be surprised if somebody took fat from one area and shot it up in your butt. So that's why I say with certain celebrities, you gotta ask the right questions. No, I don't have butt implants. Yeah, you don't, but you have transfer. So Liam had that face one day appear to every. Wait, did he get did he well, I think, you know what, now to think about it, I think maybe Liam did get surgery on his face. Zac Efron had rumored face surgery that was broken jaw, PR for emergency life saving. So like someone said, the phone stopped calling because Zac was no longer an adult teen. Zac Efron is almost 40, so at this point he's definitely giving like, he looks like he giving daddy tease. And I'm not saying like he's a daddy type, but it's like based off of his facial structure, and he looks like AI in a way. And then it's like the facial hair stuff. He's kind of giving like a older daddy, but he's younger. And I think maybe with the surgery, he aged himself. But it kind of makes me wonder: was it Do y'all really think it was like he surgery on his jaw? Like that's the reason why, um, the broken jaw thing is the reason why, like when he slipped and he said on a pair of socks and he busts his jaw open, like you think that's the real reason for why he got the surgery? I think that that's probably what it is. I just think that a lot of times when you get surgery and stuff, surgery looks weird. It's weird. Like it's like I feel like surgery looks weird on men versus women. Now, if there's a guy out there that had some surgery and it was money well spent, y'all gonna let me know. But there's been some men I'll be looking at that y'all be getting the filler and all that stuff, and y'all be looking like blowfishes. Y'all be looking crazy. But anyway, I just realized doing this show that I forgot to hit my banner the whole damn time. Okay, so we got through all of the Liam Payne stuff. Oh, excuse me. Now let's talk about Garth Brooks, who, I'm sorry, but I believe every word that's coming out about this man. I don't feel like we talked about him enough, but you know what? I'm giving y'all a break today from Diddy. That's the only time you're going to hear me mention his name, because I'm like, child, we need a break where all this foolishness is coming on with him. So now it says that the 62-year-old Friends in Low Places singer put the Mississippi woman who was accusing him of the R word right in the crosshairs of his rabid fan base by filing a lawsuit in federal court accusing her of intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and false light invasion of privacy. Garth's legal salvo comes just days after after she walloped him with an explosive lawsuit in LA Superior Court using the fictitious name Jane Roe. A source close to Garth exclusively tells In Touch the superstar is playing a dangerous game and trying to protect his reputation. Knowing Garth, he put his accuser's name out there to hold her feet to the fire, explains the source. He knows his fans worship the ground he walks on and is just as crazy about him as Swifties are about Taylor Swift. He's painted a bull's eye on the woman's back. And this here is the exact reason why I always say when you have Diddy, it's funny. I said I wasn't even going to mention him, but he fits into this. When he's trying to pull all these stunts and shows, oh, well, these people who's coming out accusing me of all these things and going under Jane Doe and John Doe and all these other names that they come up with, why don't you name them? I said, this is witness intimidation. Because when you have people who are fans of the work, but who could separate the celebrity from the man, and be like, I appreciate the music, but this person is a POS. There are people who are freaking nuts. The stands, the lunatics, the ones that do worship celebrities. I don't know why y'all out here worshiping these people. I mean, didn't they mention something in y'all precious little book of fables about worshiping false gods? So, I don't understand like how there are people that get into that whole situation and will sit out here and worship celebrities. It's these Barbs, the Navy, the Swifties, all these people who sit up here and worship the ground these celebrities walk on. It's like, you don't know these people. They're doing what they got to do so they can make their money off of these celebrities. And I'm sure there's somebody here who genuinely appreciate their fans. But then there's some that are like the gaslighters and the users and all that other stuff. And if they know the button to push to get their fan base to do their dirty work. I don't need to mention their names. Y'all know who they are. So, with this whole situation, it's the same thing. It's like with Diddy, and he's like, yeah, you want them to reveal who these people are, so why? That your fans can go do the dirty work and harass these people and intimidate them? So he's doing the same damn thing. And we already know the story about how Garth was cheating on his ex-wife with his current wife, Trisha Yearwood, and how he was out here being a hoe, laying it low and spreading it wide with whoever was going to give him the coochie. So it should be that far-fetched that he would R-word a woman. So it says Douglas Wigdor, the lawyer for the alleged victim, who In Touch will not identify, as you shouldn't, has now vowed to slap the singer with legal sanctions, saying Garth Brooks just revealed his true self. This is what Douglas said in a statement. Out of spite and to punish, he publicly named a rape victim. With no legal justification, Brooks outed her because he thinks the laws don't apply to him. But that's just, that white male privilege. that a 64-year-old accuser, a former stylist for Garth's wife, Trisha Yearwood, claims that she was SA'd inside a Los Angeles hotel room in 2019 as she was about to prep him for a show. He then continued harassing her while pushing for a threesome with his wife, court documents contended. Garth vehemently denied the accusations and claimed he is a victim of extortion, saying the woman was threatened to assassinate his character through the public airing of such revulsive and untrue allegations unless he coughed up millions. It has been like having a loaded gun waved in my face. He knows how to use those Second Amendment talking points, because isn't that the base of the people that listen to your music? So it said that but Garth could be lassoed by salacious text messages allegedly traded by the pair, saying Garth is furious about what he considers a shakedown. Now, if this is a shakedown and this woman is lying and all this other stuff, then I always say, if you confidently feel that someone is making up lies about you, take it to court. Let them handle it. You got enough money. You're a big boy. You'll be able to deal with all the legality and stuff. But by you showing your hand, by trying to intimidate this witness or this accuser, by revealing her name to, on purpose, so that way your fans can go after her, it shows signs of there's cracks in the dam. And I would not be surprised if this story is in fact true, that you may be guilty in a lot of these situations. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, do you think that he's guilty, innocent? No shade, but I actually think there's some truth to this story. So I was like, I had to let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Please hold. Say, can we say, Chris, Kylie listened to you. Tension 2 is more cohesive than the original Tension album. The 9 songs flow better. Taboo Girl's a little hung up. I think, you know what? I'm glad people listening to me. I mean, I'm a little old person on the YouTube channel with the internet, but I'm sure some of these people's out here listening to me. It's like, if I'm a fan of an artist, I try to give constructive criticism, and it's like, I know what your strengths are and your weaknesses is. I was like, I think the most problems that a lot of people have was like with Tension. I haven't listened to Tension 2 yet. I'm actually going to listen to it later on as soon as I'm done with the show and I'm on my way to the city, because I'm going to do a quick workout and then I'm going to go work the Billie Eilish show. So, so when that happens, I'm gonna definitely listen to it. But I heard like the new songs is still under 30. I heard it's still under 30 minutes. And one of my friends was like, if I was a fan of Kylie, I would be pissed. And it's like, yeah, girl, I don't need you to start to play into this whole TikTok under 3 minute situation. We needed to get back to basics with like a full, what is it? Like chorus, verse, chorus, bridge. That we need that whole structure. I don't just want a 2.5 minute, oh, I'm gonna just sing the chorus. I'm gonna turn it into like a little bridge part, and as the chorus is gonna be a piece of the lyrics, kind of like what Katy Perry thought she was doing with Lifetimes. I'm like, bitch, where's the lyrics on this damn song? You basically just took the same lyrics and just did it in a loop and passed it off as a song. But not only her, but when we get into this Jennifer Lopez story later on, I'm like, finally, she's listening too. You're welcome. So, but yeah, I'll listen to it and I'll give my overall thoughts if I decide to do a show tomorrow. I said Brat has officially become Charlie's second UK #1 album in her native UK, and is rumored to become her first US #1 album after discounting the remix album deluxe set with the Brat Deluxe album included for $4.99 web store and iTunes price. Well, good luck to, congratulations to her. I also heard that Kylie started putting out the pre-sale tickets for, speaking of Tension, for the Tension. I'm like, damn, so she put out the US pre-sales before she did the overseas one? Or the UK one? I was like, I was shocked to hear that. I thought she would have did them first. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, yeah, that's what I said. I would not be surprised. Yeah, I miss the whole hour-long thing. I don't like the 30 minutes. Like, you thinking like a lot of us want to be in and out. No, I don't. I like spending quality time with my favorite artists. I haven't even heard the Sophie Alex, because Sophie Alex Bextor and Kylie put out music today. I don't know if it's a single with Sophie. I'm assuming it's a single or an album. But I was trying to add it as like the like before it came out, but I was looking at my Apple Music, it wasn't there. And I know that you posted the link when I was trying to go in the link, but they wanted me to sign into my Apple, and I didn't feel like doing all that because I'm like, my Apple's already, oh, I'm not signing through something else to sign into that. Like, I don't have time. So I'm like, when it pop up in the Apple Music store, whatever the case is, then I'll, add it. But until then, I'm just gonna have to wait. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about another SA case, and let's get into Deryck Whibley. So we have a follow-up in regards of what Deryck Whibley from Sub 41 had to say in regards of his former manager Greg, who basically said that he never did anything to Deryck. Now I do have Deryck opening up and giving his side of the story because he took to Twitter and uploaded a video in regards to what had happened. But let me set everything up. So it basically says that a week after Whibley came forward in his new memoir, Walking Disaster, My Life Through Heaven and Hell, alleging Greg Norrie abused him, which Norrie has denied, the 44-year-old singer insisted that he is not lying. In fact, he's telling the truth. So we do have his post on Twitter. Hold on one second. So let's take a trip over to the Twitter. I told you I'm a forever and a day dead name it and always call it Twitter. Just like Elon Musk don't believe in the trans, I don't believe in X. So let's play that clip and we'll come right back and talk.
I just want to keep this brief because it's been an extremely heavy week for me. For one, I take no pleasure in coming out with the truth about what happened between me and my ex-manager. But it was something that I just couldn't keep in anymore, and I had to let it out. It's come to my attention that Greg Norrie has now called me a liar. I tell you right now, I stand behind every word that's in my book, 100%. I'm not a liar. And I'm going to speak to you directly, Greg Norrie. If you think I'm a liar, there's only one way to settle this, under oath. In front of a judge, in front of a jury, anytime you want, I'm ready. Whenever you are. To everyone else, I just want to thank you for all the love and the support. My band, my family, thank you all. Of course, the fans. I'll see you again soon. And we'll get through this like we get through everything else.
Okay, so there you have it. So I basically wanted to show you guys that so that we say that. And look, how many times have I said on this show when it comes to a lot of these people who get accused of abuse, be it Diddy, Garth Brooks, and even now Greg Norrie? How many times have I said that, okay, well, if you feel that you're so innocent and these people are coming out with these accusations, there's only one place to settle it. You're so confident that these people are liars, handle it in court. It's that simple. It's funny how like people try to make things so complicated. And it's funny because I was sitting there thinking about why you have to make everything so complicated. And his ex-wife was Avril Lavigne. I did not intend to actually make that comparison, but it just so happened it flowed into what I was saying. So when you're running out here and you're saying that this guy is lying, when you basically looked at Deryck and you were trying to groom him and found ways because maybe you were having your little sexual desires about this boy and you were basically trying to not bully, but manipulate him into doing sexual things and confusing him because, when you're young, you're impressionable. Like we've seen like when you're young and you look up to someone and it's like, oh yeah, I admire you and stuff. And people look at that predators and will take advantage and try to isolate you and do all these little manipulative games where they mind F you into doing what they want, and then you feel like, oh, if I don't comply then I won't be able to be famous or whatever because they confuse these things for love, whatever the reasons are. It's easy to like twist and manipulate and take advantage of people if you don't know the signs and if you aren't used to being taken advantage of, or if you were someone who's just naive and very trusting. And to me it just seemed like because like Deryck is someone who looked at Greg as someone he looked up to and admired, and then he was the manager, and then these little manipulative games that he was playing against Deryck and the band and all that, the rift that was going on through that. He explained all of that, and we talked about it in the last episode. So people have to kind of look at all the different layers, and like I said, and especially also, I don't think Deryck would just come out and be like, well, someone sexually abused me and write that in a book and it'd be a lie. Especially like when we always talk about how, especially when, you know, Deryck and I were around the same age. So it's like, um, sexual abuse with guys is not something that was often talked about. It's still not. It's becoming, we're slowly but surely we're getting there, but it's never been something that we feel comfortable talking about. Guys still have an issue with coming to terms with talking about sexual abuse. I just saw a story where it says something or another about the Catholic Church, how they've shelled out a bunch of damn money in regards of the Catholic Church of sexual abuse. Where was it? Oh, say Catholic Church pays out nearly $1 billion to victims of sexual abuse. Said the Roman Catholic Church Archdiocese of Los Angeles has agreed to pay out nearly $1 billion to over 1,300 victims whose cases date back to the 1940s. This is the largest settlement ever for the Catholic Church. So when you have things that's going on with the Catholic Church, you have things that's going on in Hollywood where you have a lot of predators who infiltrate that business and take advantage. This is why I've always said, and I'm so glad that I toyed around with it, but I never fully committed to becoming a child performer, because the vultures were all there. And I don't feel like that my heart was truly into wanting to pursue. Now it's like I know better and I'm all in because I'm an adult. But when I was a kid, I'm like, I understand that kids want to be stars, whatever the case is, and you have that talent and you have the right to go and train and do all those other things. But this business is not for young people. This is not a young people's business. And I really wish that there was an age where you could start 18 and up. It shouldn't be like you start at 3 months old or whatever, because you hear so many dark stories, even from Raven-Symoné. Like, she'll tell stories and she made it out as well as she did. And she had a good team and good parents and all this other stuff. And her father managed her. But there's a darkness that comes with this industry. If you don't know what to look out for, you will get chewed up, spit out, and turned to a mess. We seen Niall. I mean, what is it? I almost said Niall. Liam Payne, prime example. And now we have with this situation. And yeah, guys aren't real wanting to be open and talk about, oh yeah, I was sexually abused. That's not something guys even want to even admit happened to them. So it was brave for him to reveal this in his book and let people know what's going on. And like he said, if I'm a liar, take me to court. Because I'm sure Deryck's not the only one who's had to deal with this stuff. I'm sure he's not the only victim. And hopefully with his book, that he has opened a Pandora's box for more people to come out and speak out about this guy. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this whole Deryck Whibley drama with his ex-manager, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Felix says my attention to cassette ship. Oh, Robert said that. Sorry. And my friend pre-ordered Kali official. I was thinking about getting the calendar, and I know you said something or another that she's doing 3 days. That has not. I don't know. I may have to look into that. At the Garden, I've only known about 2 days. Yesterday, when I was working, we have like the little banner thing, like an electrical banner where it lets you know all the shows that's supposed to be coming. So we're advertising Creed. They're coming next month. They started advertising Kylie Minogue, Dula Peep. Dula Peep was doing 4 nights. I only thought she was doing 2. I didn't know she was doing 4, but apparently she's doing 4 nights. The 18th, I think the 17th, the 18th, the 20th, and the 21st of September. I'm like, okay, Dula Peep, you better sell out all 4 nights. But look, if Billie Eilish could do 3, she could do 4. But I didn't know Dula Peep had that many fans in New York. But okay. So they give y'all a whole year trying to get them tickets. But so yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kylie does add a 3rd date. But we have to say, I think 2 is a good cap for now. I watched the Child Star documentary last night. It was pretty good. Wait, what is that? Oh, that's the one with Raven-Symoné and Demi Lovato, right? Still haven't gotten around to watching that. Like, I'm trying to maintain the Halloween spirits. I've just been watching a lot of horror stuff. I'm trying to get into grotesquerie. I'm halfway through it. Can I tell y'all something? Because Rod Murphy irritates me. Now he's trying to do something with Taylor Swift, and I feel like the only reason why he got Travis Kelce that gig is because he's trying to get his hooks into her. He's anyway. I'm not even gonna go too hard on the white Tyler Perry, but Travis Kelce's acting is actually not bad. I was relatively surprised when I was watching. I'm like, okay, I can see why Taylor all up on that, because he got a little swag to him, and you know that deep voice, and then he's so tall and statuesque. So he seems like a nice guy and charming. So I mean, there were parts of of his acting I'm like, okay, you're a little wooden there, but he's passable. He's pretty good. Like, I could definitely say if he continues, I do wonder if he would go in kind of like the direction of like a Dwayne Johnson, a John Cena, you know, a Stone Cold Steve Austin, or one of those where it's like a former athlete who gets into acting. Where it's like, and then do action movies. I could definitely see him in that. Child, I was about to say this, but I was like, oh God, I hope this doesn't happen. I'm like, if they made another Expendables, they probably put Travis Kelce in it. That would work. Oh, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm like, can you imagine? Because Vin Diesel's good at this. Vin Diesel loved jumping on a bandwagon of like, oh, who's the hottest person of the moment and give them a part. What if they could decide to give Travis Kelce a part in the next Fast and the Furious movie? I would not be surprised if they would put him in something like that. Drew Barrymore said one of her mom's friends was giving her weed when she was one. Look, she was the same one that was out there partying at Studio 54 at like 9 or 10. So I wouldn't be surprised. So it's like, and Jade was a mess too. So that's Drew's mother. For those of y'all who don't know who Jade is, Jade Barrymore. Her Drew's relationship was notorious back in the day. I remember when Jade used to go on them talk shows back in the day and was talking all that mess. I think she went on like Sally Jesse or one of them shows. It's funny how I remember that. I don't remember exactly the show. It could have been Sally Jesse. It could have been Donahue. I'm gonna say Geraldo. I don't, but I would be surprised if it was Geraldo. Geraldo was sensational with his stuff too. But it probably was like Donahue or one of those shows. But I do remember like she was on there at one point. But yeah, Drew Barrymore was introduced to a lot of drugs and being around a lot of adults and stuff at a fairly young age. I'm glad she got herself together, but yeah, she was a mess back in the day. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if like her mother's friends was giving her weed because Jay was doing drugs. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about Safaree, who is basically, you know, after this whole thing, because we talked about it the other day how Safaree basically was trying to get the child support payments reduced because he says that his income isn't the same as it used to be, and the fact that Erica was running around demeaning him, like in the press, like on social media. She was basically dogging him, calling him a deadbeat, and all this other stuff. He's trying to reduce the time that he's paying, you know, with child support, saying that he's not making that kind of money anymore. And I guess it's due because I don't know. I haven't watched Love and Hip Hop in years, but I'm assuming he's no longer on the show. But he is currently on the new season of House of Villains, which I think just dropped their second episode yesterday. And I have to say, so far, I'm actually liking this season of House of Villains. Yeah, I'm watching it. And it's only because New York is back on there and she is a cackle. And I always love me some Tiffany Pollard. Um, that fine ass wrestler is on there. I'm like, ooh, who is that with all that body? The face is a little hard, but I guess it's like, you know, the steroids and stuff, but the body is body. And he be flexing them chest. I'm like, okay. And then, of course, because, well, it's not because of him. So Wes is on there from The Challenge, and I love The Challenge. Then we have Teresa Giudice, who she irritates me on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And we're going to get into some Real Housewives of New Jersey talk after this story, with Jen Aydin still being a mess, and Andy having to check her in real time. But I like her on this season so far of House of Villains. I don't like her when she's on the Housewives because I guess Louis is there and all that other mess, and he irritates me. And then when she's in that little bubble and all this stuff, but she do be having her fierce one-liners. But I don't know. Over the years, I just haven't liked Teresa, but for some reason, I like her on here. And then who else is there? Oh, and then Candy Muse from Drag Race is on there, where she went in on Safaree. Because he put him up for extermination. That's Dracula, but put him up for elimination. But he said it was a strategy on why he did what he did, and Candy decided to go off. I was like, bitch, you better hope you don't get eliminated. Not realizing that this was the plan. So anyway, so Safaree is on House of Villains. I don't know if he spent up that money already, but now he, I guess after Erica put him on blast and was pretty much showing the calendar of the amount of days that he actually has custody of his children, which I think she said was out of the year so far. And I think the last time they capped it off was like August, July or August. She said he only showed up 16 times out of, 6 months to take the kids. So basically, he took it a step further and then posted leaked security footage in which it shows Mena getting physically violent with him. And now the security footage was cobbled together from different times, and one of the incidents appears to have taken place in front of their kids. So the footage shows Erica Mena shoving Safaree and breaking property inside their home. The latter felt that he needed to share the footage in order to properly illustrate to the public what he's been dealing with. So now I have to put myself first because I'm either going to end up in jail or worse because I'm dealing with someone whose anger management is non existent. And it'd be easier. So now, on one hand, I'd be like, Safaree, you get no sympathy because you just a mess. You're a gaslighter. You like to stick your peen and everything, and you like to gaslight and cause you give it these crazy emotionally these emotional women that you how to push their buttons and get them whatever. But still, at the end of the day, a woman has no right, regardless of how many times you push their buttons, to react the way that they react. And based off of Erica's known reputation, especially with her being on reality TV where physical violence is encouraged, a lot of times it's like, do you not know the difference? Like, okay, so we hype this up because it's for good TV, but this is real life right here. So I do have the footage actually of Erica putting paws on him, and it's like, yeah, you should not be doing this in front of the kids. Shout out to the Jackman brand, where it's like he trying to leave. Not the heartbeat. Heartbeat, you make me feel so weak. Now she in the way. She's standing in the way. She trying to intimidate him with them droopy boobs.
Self first because I'm either going to end up in jail or worse because I'm dealing with someone who is just whose anger management is just non-existent. When you have children with somebody who at the end of the day it shouldn't even have happened because I should have just noticed certain things when it came to parenting. When you're with someone for 3 years and they have a child and you probably saw the child 3 to 4 times because the child was put off to go live with somebody else. But when you aren't with somebody and it doesn't work out and the two of you are just like in a weird space and everything is a fight, especially in front of the kids, like I'm not gonna.
Okay, so that was pretty much it. I don't know if they cut it off. I mean, I have the other clip. I don't know if we want to sit and hear that again. But what are the people saying in so the question that the Jasmine brand was asking, did Erica go too far? And I feel like, yeah, she went too far. Regardless of how a man pushes you or whatever the case is, if I'm trying to get up out the house, if I'm trying to leave the situation because you don't know how to have a genuine conversation with someone outside of being physical and throwing things, then I'm going to walk away. And when you calm down and when you know how to act civilized, then we'll have this conversation. But until then, because I need to stay away from you. And yeah, maybe he realizes that, you know what? I loved her at a point, and then all of a sudden it's like realizing that, okay, this chick is crazy. I mean, this is the same one who doesn't have the best relationship with her eldest child. So you having kids with her, 2 more children, and then all this other drama. It is what it is, I guess. You made your bed, now you gotta lie in it, unfortunately. So the people in the comments said, lock her up. This is domestic violence. And I do feel like that, okay, so now it's automatically assumed that, when a man puts his hands on a woman, yeah, y'all want to throw them under the jail and treat them like crap. But when you're a guy who's like, yeah, I was taught that I can't put my hands on a woman, that I need to walk away, but she's abusing me, people don't treat abuse towards men the same way because they expect the man is the masculine aggressor. He should be able to handle his own against a woman. But in women, there are some women out there that take advantage of knowing this situation and use it to their advantage. This is why I said that I feel like police and all that, y'all need to take like criminal justice or some type of class where y'all understand, people's emotions and how to deal with those situations, because I feel like a lot of them are unprepared. So another person said, and I think this comment is stupid, says, Safaree, we do not have compassion for you. You are not a victim. Tearing down the woman that's raising your kids is nasty work. But I'm like, but if she is putting hands on him, why can't he speak on that? So I get on one hand of how Safaree treats women or whatever cases, but here's the thing: that's not our business. That's between him and the person he's with. I guess when you invite people into the group chat, aka when y'all let y'all play up y'all drama for a check on a reality show, people tend to think based off of hours of edited footage down to a 40-minute reality show with commercials added that you think these people. You only get a smidgen, a little portion, a small piece of what these people are dealing with. So I don't understand how you're going to sit up here and say tearing down the woman that's raising your kids. I don't care if Jesus Christ was raising my child. If he put his hands on me, oh, you best believe it's going down. So another person says, so no outrage, huh? Guess because it's a man. Agreed. Now, I'm not going to sit out here and truly defend Safaree because, yeah, Safaree do be doing some fuckboy shit. But in this case, it's like, we should have some kind of empathy and compassion and really just be able to separate the jerk from whatever it is that they're going through. So another person said, Queen Q Michelle said, if he assaulted her in this way and tore up her house, y'all will be dragging him, and rightfully so. I don't care if he never has his kids. The solution is not putting your hands on him. Sorry, Erica, it is DV Awareness Month, and Erica has a long history of being aggressive and putting her hands on folks. So regardless, she needs some serious help. When your kids see this behavior, they either become what they see or get with someone who treats them the same way, and neither of them should want this for them. If you love your kids, you would practice self-control. So shout out to Queen Michelle for this, because you are 110% right in regards of this situation. Is that, yes, when it comes down to it, it is something that will become a learned behavior, where your kids are looking at this and they think that this is love. This is what I'm exposed to. We hear this all the time from people who go and say like, well, I thought that was love when you would see like people putting hands on this, that, and the other. Look, Chris Brown's a perfect example. Didn't he grow up in an abusive household? And now you see a lot of that behavior playing out when it comes to why he is the way he is, because he thinks that, and on a subconscious level, the way I'm looking at it is that when you've been seeing your mama get her ass beat from you being a child, and then you take that into your adulthood where all that is encouraged because you've got all these enablers and everybody around you that you surrounded yourself with that encourage your nasty behavior. Why would you be surprised that, it trickles down? So y'all need to be careful in regards of like what you're exposing your people to. And Erica definitely needs anger management, because I'm tired of people going, oh, it's passion. No. You can be passionate about some things, but you ain't got to be passionate putting your hands on somebody. Because now if he would have knocked the shit out of her, then what? Then y'all would be calling all kinds of woman beater. But because it's her, then I guess it's business as usual, and we accept the fact that, oh, it's just typical Erica Mena acting like Erica Mena with her behavior. No, it should not be accepted. And it's funny, I wish I would have that same outrage as with her calling Spice a damn monkey. Y'all was all mad about that, but now the tune is changed because y'all don't like him. We can learn to separate, his behavior and how he treated her from the overall physical abuse. So I say all this, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, is this his way of being like she's not fit to be, having those kids in her life? Does he want full custody or something or another? Like, I don't know what's happening. I mean, I know like he wants to reduce the amount he's paying, but doesn't mean he wants to step and want to take the kids full time. Because I doubt that's what Safaree wants. Safaree definitely gives me like, oh, I just want to go out here and do my thing with my little fur coats and be up in the club and taunt Nicki Minaj at her concerts for attention. But then I want to be able to come and go as I please, and I don't want to fully commit to raising them babies. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I was gonna say, are you team Safaree? You team Erica? But we shouldn't do like teams. Like this is we voting on a drag race finale of which queen you want to see win. Quiet as it's kept, to answer that question, I could care less who wins Global All Stars. I don't even know if the finale. Well, I know the episode came on last night. I fell asleep on it per usual. Season is tired. So I don't even know if it was the finale. I know they did the Lollapalooza. It might be next week. But anyway, it don't matter. We talking about Erica and Safaree. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Andy Cohen, who I saw the other day. He was all up in Cooper Koch. He wanted to know if he got a boyfriend. He had his ring on it, on a ring on his ring finger, like the left finger. Asked if he was married. Apparently, he said he was wearing some jewelry. He was looking for some jewelry to wear, and it was on the ring finger. And he was wanting to mess with people and get people talking. I thought he was also at the Giorgio Armani party alongside Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm like, First of all, we got two actors with big penises sitting next to each other. Child, that's about to be a sword fight up in here. But yeah, and so first it was like Cooper Koch was on Watch What Happens Live, and now he's over here on Andy Cohen's regular show, Radio Andy or whatever it's called. I said, you really trying to get up in this child, but he got a man. So stop trying to wreck somebody's shop, allegedly. But anyway, let's get into this thing with Jen Aydin. So it says that over the weekend, Jen Aydin, who has starred on the Bravo reality series Real Housewives of New Jersey since season 9, went live on IG while getting Botox injected in her face. And here's the thing, it's so funny. Jen is such a clown. Now that be feeling like you be talking so much stuff about people's face. She always be critical about surgeries. And I said, girl, you the main one. You got married to had the nerve to talk about John Fuda's, I guess, what was it? She was talking about one of the guys on the show about they man boobs or whatever. I was like, bitch, first of all, you are married to a plastic surgeon. Your whole body is fake. So you want to sit up in here and talk about the only thing that I guess is natural on you is your damn well, I was gonna say your brain, but that's barely even natural. Your eyes. But you had all this work done, but you got the nerve to talk about somebody's body, or you want a body shame. It's like, girl, if you don't sit your tie behind there, but you'll have plenty because I don't think she's coming back to the show. So they said one of the people watching commented something indicating that they did not want Aydin, who's 47, to come back to the show, which prompted the mother of 5 to lift up her middle finger and fire back. Well, we don't want you to come back. She said, oh, sorry, Instagram user's name. I am coming back. Now, the bold statement came shortly after alleged source information began circulating online, in which claimed that Aydin, Teresa Giudice, and Dolores Catania were told not to engage in any other projects outside NBC because they would all be back for the next season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Who said that? In my Portia Williams voice, who said that? Because who told them not to engage in anything outside of NBC? Because Teresa just did House of Villains. And I would not be surprised that you see either one of these women on a season of The Traitors, which I have to shout out Joel McHale because he made that joke on House of Villains. He was like, there's only one reason why y'all are all here, and that's because The Traitors is on hiatus or something or other. I was like, because they filmed season 3 probably at the same time, or probably was later on, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So it says, what? A report where? Where did they get it? A shot Cohen 56 exclaimed on his Andy Cohen live Sirius XM radio show Wednesday when the topic was brought up. Exactly. I want to know where y'all heard that tea from too, because I haven't heard it. And I've been paying attention to the streets of what's going on with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Nobody, first of all, has been officially announced in regards to Real Housewives of New Jersey. So she was trying, what I feel like she was trying to do, she was in her damn feelings because somebody was watching on there, I was going to say a hater, but I wouldn't call you a hater. I feel like it's a fan that I agree with wholeheartedly because I don't like Jen Aydin. And I could be I don't want to sit up here and say that I'm biased in some sort of way, but I don't like her behavior and how she pretty much she came across like she was one of those mafioso foot soldiers for Teresa on this season. Not saying that, well, I was going to say not saying that she don't have a mind of her own, but I do feel like a lot of times when it comes to Teresa, her relationships and her friendships are one-sided. You have to be loyal to her. You got to bow down and kiss her ring, but she doesn't give the same energy when the tables are turned. It's always me, do for me, worship me, kiss my ass. But then it's like, well, when are you going to actually do me a solid? And Jen been out here doing all this dirty work with nothing to show for it. And I feel like what may have screwed her, well, I would have to say, shout out to Danielle for smacking her in the face with that cup. That was a cackle. You're like, bitch, you tried it with me. And she had that reflex. I'm like, y'all turning the Jersey housewives into mob wives. And that's why I be having a laugh sometimes, because Andy tried it by trying to talk about, oh, we're not loving hip hop. We're not a Bad Girls Club. We're not like those shows. Sir, your shows are becoming that. So for you to sit up in here and try to read Mona Scott and trying to read Natalie Nunn and all of them, I'm like, your shows are starting to become just as ratchet as those shows are. So let's not try to act like we're all demure and mindful over at Bravo. Let's not do that. Especially with all those lawsuits y'all got hovering over y'all like a dark damn cloud. So I do agree with him. It's like, where's the report? Who's coming up with all this other stuff? And he said, we've made no decisions on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I feel like that they are taking their time with this show. So we're not going to know exactly when we're going to be getting a new cast with all this other stuff. They haven't even started filming yet. So I don't think they're going to start filming until 2025. They really have to take their time with this. But what I'm hearing is the fact that they can't get people to want to sign on to the show because of the nasty reputation that is hovering over Jersey. They've been trying to get like big names. They've been trying to get all these other people. You need to have people that have kind of connected what the connective tissue is with Jersey. So they can't get nobody to sign on. They trying to get these regular schmegular people like with money and all this other stuff. They can't get these people to sign on based off of the housewives' reputation. So they're struggling to try to find casting people. I know people who cast for the show. That's how I be knowing this tea. Who have casted, I should say, for the housewives. Will give recommendations, but that's not necessarily what they're looking for. So hold on, because I want to show y'all this picture of Lady Botched. So yeah, this is where she getting Botox. I'm like, girl, you need more than that first. But cause you're looking a little swollen. But I did find it, and I seen Teresa like the photo too. I don't know if you can see where it says, but hold on. Liked by Teresa Giudice. If you look at the bottom, you can see her name is down there. But anyway, that's near here nor there. So it said that many fans took the sentiment to mean that Aydin would not be returning to the show, saying Annie definitely said you did not make the cut. This is what one person said on Twitter. And while another added, oh, she definitely fired now. Another person said, I believe her, but now he's mad for leaking the news and is going to fire her. Well, no, I don't believe her. Or maybe they were just gaslighting them. Who knows? So another person said, this is worse than finding out you're on pause. Because remember, this is around that must have been why Dorinda's name was trending the other day. Because I'm like, why is Dorinda name up here? So it probably was that. Because remember, Dorinda was like, I'm not fired, I'm on pause. Child, you was fired. You were not on pause. Although I do believe they did bring her back for Ultimate's girls trip when they were at the Berserkshires, but nobody cared. But here's the thing. I feel like Jen was already on thin ice because that she was giving the screeners, leaking it, because the cast gets screeners, so they get to watch the shows before we do, and then they have to comment, I guess on a Bravo blog or on social media in regards to the episode. But they were giving the screeners to the press, certain bloggers or whatever that they can have on their team that would kiss their behind and defend them. So Jen was giving that out. And now here's the thing. They all do it. A lot of them do it. The only problem was Jen was messy about how she went about it, and Andy wasn't happy. So I think that was a strike against her as well. As plus, there was a lot of other stuff that was going on this past season in regards of Jen being messy. And now, with this thing, it's like, oh, you were trying to save your pride when you were on Instagram, so you just spewing that I guess that Botox suggested went to your damn brain, And you just started spewing a bunch of BS. And Andy had to be like, sis, I don't know where you getting your information from, but nobody's been confirmed. So we haven't signed anybody, and you don't have a job yet. And now at this point, I do agree that she's definitely not coming back. And then also, I feel like they're gonna reboot it. I don't see Jen coming back. I'm not sure about Melissa. First of all, I think that I know Shay, and I like Melissa. She's pretty to look at, and I like her husband. However, she has brought absolutely nothing to the show. I feel like Joe Gorga brings more than Melissa does. Melissa's just there. Joe is more should be the one that actually should be a housewife, and Melissa should just be fading into the background like she always does. Margaret, I don't see her coming back either because I've heard that she's been doing some things where she's rubbed a lot of people, production, everything the wrong way. So I feel like she need to go too. So, I mean, she's good TV, but sis, when you start pissing on production, that's not a good sign. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think that Jen is coming back to the show? Do you think she shot herself in the foot? Quiet as it's kept, I didn't think she was coming back anyway. She was just trying to be cute and save face, and Andy had to pretty much be like, sis, don't sit over here and think that you run the show, because at the end of the day, this is my franchise. I get to say who comes and who doesn't come. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And Robert says, I will send you the Forbes article, but Gina Carano isn't only. Oh, well, I saw that there was the case. I saw something about the case. I didn't care to read it because I was just like, I don't particularly care for Gina Carano, her stiff acting behind. And it said she isn't only subjected to win her case with Disney, but it looks legally they'll have no choice but to work with her again and use her as the main cast. And if she wins, they need to fire Kathleen Kennedy because she's terrible over there at Disney. She's in the whole Star Wars thing. Like, Star Wars has been trash once she took over. Pedro Pascal, right now they're filming the Mandalorian movie. He's currently I know he was promoting another movie over in the UK because right now he's filming Fantastic Four. But all he has to do is provide the voice. Once his whole Mandalorian movie is done and over with, he's pretty much done. So I don't think that he's going to be out of the Disney thing for, forever, because he's currently, like I said, filming Fantastic Four, which is going to come out next year. And if she's able to prove that Disney did her wrong, then you know what? Let her get her money. I ain't mad about that, but it's just like Gina Carano, I mean, quite as she ain't never been that good of an actress. She was good. But I will say that she was pretty good when she was in The Mandalorian. I liked her in that movie. I mean, in the show. You have different views and beliefs in Hollywood as her First Amendment. And if she feels how she is, and you know what, they want to ostracize her for having differences of belief. I'm like, you can believe what you want to believe as long as your beliefs don't interfere with mine, and you don't try to indoctrinate your views on me, or you not disrespectful when I'm on the set. Like when we talked about the other day in the last show, we talked about DJ Qualls, where he was like, he came out because he's on a movie set, and one producer's like to Sean William Scott, oh, I don't want to, I had trepidations of hiring him because he's an F word. Or if I'm on set and I'm at craft services fixing my plate and I'm hearing actors and crew members like that word, I was like, oh wait, hold on now. You mind watching your goddamn mouth? That's like somebody saying the N-word every 3 seconds. Like, damn, do you is there any other words in your vocabulary that you can use besides that word? Because once you start to say the same thing too many times, it becomes redundant. It becomes like, okay, you sucked all the juice out the damn lemon at this point. So, and I do agree with the whole First Amendment. Whether we agree with it or not, we always have to deal with people in life who have differences of opinion, different belief systems, and that's fine. But as long as you're not over here trying to tell me that your belief and your ideals and your religion and your this is worth more than my feelings or whatever the case is, then we cool. We can agree to disagree, but don't try to indoctrinate your mess onto me or your beliefs. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about Madonna and Cyndi Lauper, who is opening up about her this long standing story regarding having a feud. Cindy and Madonna had been feuding. And here's the thing. Before there was Britney and Christina, or who's the new generation one? Who's the new Britney and Christina of like Gen Z, Gen Alpha? Is it Camila Cabello and Sabrina Carpenter? I know y'all trying to create that. And it's like, no, y'all not, it's not giving. So before, like I said, before there was Britney and Christina, there was Madonna and there was Cyndi Lauper. And, there were two contemporaries that were coming up. And the way that people looked at them, it was sort of like, yeah, they were, the media, the industry were trying to pit them against each other. And Cyndi saying, there's no bad blood. We don't have bad blood. Go on, Tay-Yance. They said 1983 was a very good year for pop music and made up pop feuds. In July of 1983, Madonna released the first album featuring her hits Holiday, Dressed You Up, and Borderline. A few months later in October, Cyndi Lauper released her debut album, She's So Unusual, which included iconic cuts Girls Just Want to Have Fun, oh yeah, I love me some She-Bop Chad, and Time After Time. Both women had big quirky personalities, a creative thrift store punk aesthetic, and infectiously fun radio hits. So Lauper, who's now 71, says it was no surprise to her that the industry tried to pit women against each other and make it seem like they were enemies. She said in the 80s, they started to pit women against each other. This is what she told People. Well, actually, it started in the 60s, the pitting of women against each other and wanting to go back to what they've been doing before women's lib or whatever. But the Madonna beef was simply made up. So as soon as I saw her do like a prayer, I was like, oh my God, I love her. And I loved her ever since, Lauper says. In an interview with The Guardian over the summer, Lauper talked more about the fictional feud, saying that as if you could only have one woman who's successful, what the hell is that about? The woman, Madonna 66, had been entertaining us for years. She's made great pop songs. I want to be competitive, but not pitted against another woman. I'm not into that. This is what she added at the time. Now, the Grammy winner is currently gearing up to kick off her Girls Just Want to Have Fun farewell tour and open up the people because she's going to be at my job on the 30th of this month. And then there's the Duran Duran one on Halloween. So she about to tear it up. So they said, she basically is opening up in this week's issue about the things she learned throughout her 42 years in the music business. Excuse me. She notes that despite looking like a wild child, she wasn't actually wild at all and hardly drank. Because I don't drink, I don't smoke, it's very boring. But because I was a singer, I had to watch out for my voice. Yeah, she's not a drinker and a smoker, but child, what about her son Declan? Well, you know what? I'm not going to go there with her son. But she also says, she's even talked about how her first big splurge when she became famous was a washer and a dryer. She said, I still love my washer dryer closet. And she said, but don't mistake her for a domestic goddess. Was it Joan Rivers who said, cleaning a house doesn't make you sexy? No man ever came home and said, this is immaculate, you hot bitch. Let's do it right here. That is funny. But you know what? I totally agree with her on this situation. I said, yeah, let's put it in that picture because this is always funny whenever I would see this picture. So I kind of agree with her with all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, they made this whole situation in regards to, oh yeah, because they were two of the biggest stars at that point, and the industry basically looked at Cyndi Lauper as the one who was going to be the big superstar, and Madonna was going to be this flash in the pan. She was going to be this one-hit wonder, but similar to Kylie Minogue, where she's been counted out so many times, her tenacity and her will to succeed exceeded the expectations of her haters and the critics. So Madonna had to prove time and time and time again, even though Azealia Banks and that old big forehead ass heifer want to run around saying that Madonna's not talented and all this other stuff. But it's like 4 decades in the business, so many, double upon double hits. Where's yours? But you want to read somebody on what you think they're not talented, but you would not be able to sustain 4 decades in a career if you had no talent. That's just virtually impossible. And there's not enough money in the world where you can buy off people to get those awards and those accolades. So, yeah, there's always been this thing where it's with women, especially when it comes down to, oh, well, we can't have more than one artist to enjoy. We see it in our pop peers, our pop female peers. We see it in female rap game, where it's like when you look at female rappers, we can't sit and believe that there's a possibility that more than one woman could exist. When I was growing up, there were so many different variety of female rappers that were on the charts, that were succeeding, that were doing their own thing. So we can multitask. We can accept more than one thing being the representation. We don't just need one person to be the full representation of an entire generation. We're not a monolith. And I just wish that the industry would stop being so lazy with doing that. But they love a cat fight. That's why, in so many ways, they like to play into that. So I definitely agree with her on this. And you know what? Shout out to you, Cyndi. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you're going to bring in regard to this upcoming tour. And how she pretty much was like, you know what? I had to just lead a boring life because my voice is my instrument. And so I couldn't be out here drinking and doing drugs and messing up all my stuff. I really have to focus on giving the best performance because these people out here, with their hard-earned money, paying all this money to come see me live. And I can't just give y'all a half-ass show like some of these people out here be doing. And she basically was like, yeah, she never had needed drugs to escape. Is that when you're singing, if it's all working out, that makes you that takes you to another planet anyway. So it's like, yeah, I get my sense of euphoria from singing. So I don't need to do drugs to get high. I get high off of performing. That adrenaline and that feeling, that's enough for me. So shout out to you, Cyndi. Cindy's always been in class. Like I've always liked Cyndi Lauper. It's like that's I grew up as a kid listening to Madonna and Cyndi Lauper and all other stuff. And I love the fact that she came out and she pretty much said that there is no beef. So the industry could say and create all kinds of fake narratives if they want to, but there's no tea over here, no drama. So I said all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so hold on. Let's go to the comments. Felix says, people have always tried to pit Madonna against other female artists. I'm seeing her November 8th. I was not scheduled for Cyndi Lauper's concert. I'm going to see if I can try to work it. I know I'm supposed to give y'all a Halloween episode within those 2 days. So I'm going to figure out something. If I don't get on for Cyndi, I don't know if I'd feel all that upset about it. But I mean, I would like to see that, have the opportunity of witnessing that show. But so Madonna had to deal with Paula Abdul, Britney Spears, and Lady Gaga as her replacements. Two of those are virtually gone. Paula was the flash in the pan. By the time Lady Gaga arrived, Madonna was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so she wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, Madonna pretty much had solidified herself anyway by the time Lady Gaga came around. Lady Gaga came around 2008, 2009. Madonna already had released some of her most iconic work at that point, and she's already solidified herself as a legend in the business, transferring into icon status. So none of those girls would have been able to take her out anyway. Okay, so all right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Hannaford, who will be starting to get a little tea in regarding, her upcoming musical endeavors. So word on the street is that now that she's single, it looks like Jennifer Lopez is on the hunt for her next big single, a dance hit in the vein of Waiting for Tonight or even On the Floor. And so shout out. Oh, so let's pull up that picture. Come on, girl. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. So now it says the source says page 6. Sells page 6, I should say, that Jennifer Lopez is shopping around for a new smash song in the wake of her split from Ben Affleck. Saying they have reached out to songwriters, said the source. She wants a big dance hit. The source tells us her priority career-wise is music. Really? Because I've always felt like the music has always kind of come as not a top priority. I always felt like that was at the bottom of your list. She was always focusing on everything else, like the merch and selling makeup and hairlines and all this other stuff and clothes, and then the acting, and then the music was all the way at the bottom of the list. Hence why she was giving us some half-ass songs that nobody cared about and just throwing songs out there and hoping one of them would stick. So they also said the source tells us her priority career-wise is music. There's no point of her going into it unless it's big, and critics say it's the old Lopez. She needs a big banger. The Star 55 not just looking for one song either. She wants a whole album, we hear. She wants to get hits and put out an album. This is according to a source. Now, let's talk about Ms. Lopez's last album, which is This Is Me Now, inspired by her relationship with her ex, Ben Affleck, was released in February of this year, but it flopped hard. It failed to break the top 20 and debuted at number 38 on the Billboard Top 200. And she also said that, remember, that This Is Me Now, she was going to retire from music. She was like, I'm not going to make music anymore after this, because I guess she felt like this was her magnum opus, that this was the bookend. This was the end of the thing. I've done all I needed to do. This is all I need to contribute, which made me feel like, girl, this is what you thought it was going to be your legacy, is doing this whole mid album where you just giving a bunch of mid-tempo tracks and ballads, which, no shade, is not your strong suit, because you're not that good of a singer. You're passable, but you're sort of in the Britney, Janet category, Paula Abdul category, where you're a stronger dancer than a singer. Where it's like, you need the bops, you need the hits to carry you through, but people don't want to sit there seeing you try to stand at a microphone like you're Billie Eilish. That doesn't work for you. That's not your strong suit. You're a performer, you're an entertainer. So what you should have been doing is, we want the pomp and circumstance, we want the extravagant stage show, you're a showgirl. We want the lavish costumes. We want the acrobatics. We want the backing track louder than your actual singing voice to make it sound like you on key. We want all the trickery. So when we go see a Jennifer Lopez show, we want the pomp and circumstance. We know we're not going to see Mariah Carey standing around like a stiff, person, while your dancers do all the heavy lifting. We know what we're going to get when we go to a Jennifer Lopez concert. The problem with Jennifer Lopez is that she's like a lot of these people who are caught up in their ego and think that, you know what, y'all keep saying I'm not a great singer, but I'm going to try to show you that I'm going to blow like Adele. But I'm like, sis, you don't even have half of Adele's vocal range. So why try? Stick to your strengths, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, which is give us the hits, the dance songs, the bops. We want the on the floors. We want the waiting for tonight's. We want the El Anillo Pa Cuando. We want all those type of songs. We want you to do the Spanish stuff. I want you to do the dance music stuff. And this is funny, like I've been telling, this is what she need to be doing for the longest. I guess when you say something enough, eventually they hear it. So that one looks like she listening. But now that they say after this album flopped, they talking about she wants to wash away the stink of This Is Me Now. Well, child, that's why you don't do a full album about your relationship. You can throw in a song or two. Like I'm sure Gwen Stefani is doing her upcoming album, where she dropped that first single, which like she was throwing shade at Gavin Rossdale, but uplifting her current relationship with Blake Shelton. But I'm sure that's not the whole record. It's like, let me just say what I need to say, get it out on one song, and that's it. Jennifer Lopez want to do a full album about how she love Ben Affleck. And nobody want to hear that. That man always look mad about something. And the most dirty drawers he be wearing. So, and you already know the album got mixed reviews. People didn't even like that documentary and then the movie musical. Like, people just didn't understand what the hell was going on with that. And I get that she's a workhorse. She's got a lot of projects coming up. She has 2 movies that she has coming out that were produced by Ben Affleck. Unstoppable, which she's been she's been out and about promoting that movie lately with Jerome. And then we saw that her with Matt Damon at the Prayer Circle when they were doing it at the film festival where they premiered it. I think it was TIFF. And then recently she did the interview with what was it? Interview Magazine, where she looked good in that. But Hanover never takes a bad picture. And then, she has that, and then she also has Kiss of the Spider Woman, which was remade. And, Arts Equity is actually the production company that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon own or run. So those are the two movies those are the two projects that she has coming out with them. Plus, I'm sure she has other things down the pipeline. But I do feel like while the movie industry is not giving her what needs to be given, and she just jumping in a lot of these forgettable projects like that Atlas movie and then The Mother and all these other projects that she just keeps doing where it just gets dumped straight to streaming, and she's not really taking herself like Hannaford, you need, like, if you want to do something, stay away from the rom-coms. Find you a John Wick-esque type of franchise. Like, I need to see her in an action movie or something. I know she's been doing action-based stuff, but the project she's been signing on to are just not good. Because Atlas was not a good movie, and The Mother I thought was okay. But but I feel like with this music, I really hope this story is true regarding that she wants to that she's looking for her some dance hits, because I feel like you need to get back to basics in regards of like what stick to your strengths. Because like Kylie Minogue does it, she's sticking to her strengths, which is I'm glad she steps out of the box and she does things, but I feel like you need to definitely shop around and you need to kind of get in that bag of be a showgirl, because then it opens up the door of possibly another Vegas residency. You could possibly do an arena tour and people will want to come and see you. But this past era, wasn't nobody up in there going to sit and try to watch you singing a bunch of damn ballads about some damn Ben Affleck. That's why that tour flopped. So kudos to you. Good luck to you. I know some people in my comments when I posted this story, they were just like, girl, just hang it up. Or do people even care about Jennifer Lopez still putting out music? So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all actually care that Jennifer Lopez is trying to get back in her dance music bag? Here's the thing. I may not like certain things that you do, but if you put out a bop, if you put out a song that's actually good, and I listen to it, I'm like, okay, I hear it. Then I'm here for her, looking for the hits and wanting to give the fans what they want. So, and look, she still got it where she could get up there and dance and put on a good show. And at least look, y'all probably get that record before y'all get Black Diamond. So I say all to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, before I get to say comments, if y'all could please do me a solid and hit that like button and the subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification button if you haven't already. So that way, you know, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filtered, I would gladly appreciate it. We have 2 more topics to get to, and then we're done with today's show. But for the most part, let me check these comments. Robert said, if you listen to This Is What the Truth Comes Out, I loved Rare because Miranda Lambert was dissed as a stupid girl. Well, she is an idiot. I've heard she's not the nicest person either. Drag Miranda and uplift her men. I get Crystal and others are upset that Blake ruined her, but my opinionated question is, did he really, or did she, in my opinion, instead of going surgery and other stuff, just fell out of love with that California Sky Girl because of the association with Gavin Rossdale? You can't erase it because the internet reminds people that there was a royal 90s alternative couple, so even surgery won't help because research on Google is rewinding the world. So me, Gwen, fell in love with a country average Joe who treats her like the queen she is. I don't think Blake ruined her. I just feel like that Gwen Stefani is a girl from Orange County, so she's like middle class. So I feel like, yeah, while she would do that whole rebellious punk thing, and I do think that that is still her, when she's not performing and all glammed up and stuff, I do think that, look, didn't she come out with a song called Simple Kind of Life? Like, I really believe that she abides by that. She likes simplicity. She wanted a man who's just going to love upon her and truly appreciate and respect her. And she didn't get that from her prior relationships. So I don't think people should be anti-Blake Shelton. I like their relationship. I don't think he's done anything mean-spirited. I mean, look, Gavin Rossdale was out here having whole babies on people and didn't even know it. You out here laying low for why having illegitimate love children and all this other mess. So I'm not mad at Gwen for wanting something simple. And people don't really know, like, I just feel like in so many ways we got to stop being so team this and team that and black and white when it comes to, oh, I feel like I have to give my undying fealty to certain people. Like, oh, Britney could do no wrong in my eyes. Because it's like, no, I'm sorry, but I may like a celebrity, but if I'm calling out something that ain't right, to me, it's showing concern rather than just turning a blind eye. Because if tomorrow your fave passed away, I don't want to hear the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Because a lot of y'all tended to, oh, well, we should have done this and we should have done. Well, you should have did it when they was alive. And that's not only just put it off on when people die, then all of a sudden we want to feel bad. You caught it. But anyway, so it's like, but yeah, it's just like I can't be by, because you know me. It's like I like Britney, but it's like, when you in them Gerber panties in the foyer in them ugly brown shoes twirling with the smeared eye makeup and the nappy ass weave you got in your head, if that was anybody else, y'all want to sound the alarm. But anyway, now speaking of sounding alarms, let's sound the alarm on this story. So there is a dancer by the name of Zelig Williams who has been missing for the past 2 weeks. I believe he was a dancer in New York. He took a job down in South Carolina to be a dance teacher, and now they pretty much said that he's missing. So his mother was out here damn near fainted live on TV, feeling emotional, trying to find out like she wants her son back, rightfully so. Excuse me. The family has been pleading with the public if they know any information, and please come out and show their support for Zelig and let them know, let the police know in that situation. Even to the point that Hugh Jackman even went on his Instagram stories, which I'm like, I don't like the Instagram stories thing because I always told y'all it lasts like 24 hours. It like comes and goes. And I do feel like what should have happened is that just put it in your regular Instagram too, not just the stories. Because I don't be in everybody's stories. I don't be having time to be up in the Instagram stories like that. But anyway, so it says that Hugh Jackman is pleading with the public to share any information they may have on Broadway performer Zelig Williams, who has been missing for almost 2 weeks in South Carolina. Now, Williams' credits include performances in MJ the Musical, Hamilton, and Jackman's 2019 tour, The Man, the Music, the Show, saying the following: please, if anyone has any information as to the whereabouts of Zelig Williams, please reach out to your local authorities. This is what Jackman wrote in an Instagram story last night. Zelig, we love you and are praying for your safe return. Please pass this message on. Well, that's why I'm doing this. Because I've been hearing about this story for a while, but then I realized it was starting to gain a lot of traction. So I was like, yeah, let's talk about it over here. So the 28-year-old dancer who had recently relocated from New York to his hometown of Columbia, South Carolina, to work as a dance teacher was last seen by family members on October 3rd. He was reported missing by his mother and other family members on October 4th, according to the Richland County Sheriff's Department. The family told police it was out of character for Williams to be out of contact for an entire day, saying his car was found in a parking lot near Congaree, Congaree National Park, about 20 miles southeast of Columbia. According to local media reports, the family was notified by a friend of the dancer in New York City that he had received an SOS cell phone alert from Williams's phone indicating a car crash on October 3rd. The car found in the parking lot bore no signs of an accident. Now, local law enforcement has conducted searches using helicopters, boats, and drones. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott told local TV station WIS-10, we search on foot and in the air for various locations. Other investigative techniques that we will use involving cell phones and some other things I don't want to discuss at this point. Lott added that Williams is in need of prescription medication. Paramount one knows what the prescription medication is for, but I guess that's neither here nor there. So yeah, that's a picture of him giving that all that jazz pose. But here's the one I want to put up. So let's put up the message. So he's 6 foot and 150 pounds, 28 years old, from Columbia, South Carolina. And you know what we always talk about on this show, how like a lot of black people go missing, or people of color, especially indigenous women, black women and men go missing, and the media does not talk about it. And you know what? If it takes someone like a Hugh Jackman to bring more attention to this story, which is unfortunate that it always takes a white person to bring attention, or a major celebrity who knows this kid to bring attention to a story. It's sad, but I'm glad it's being done. So now, in a September 17th Facebook post, Williams wrote a message promoting his dance lessons, saying, we are 10 days away from Broadway Dance Boot Camp. Tickets are still available. Sign up here before it's too late. Not only will we be learning combos, but we will also be talking about headshots, resumes, what attire to wear, and ways to improve your performance while auditioning. So, his cousin Miyoki Corbin Jacobs told Wiz 10, "We can't describe it as devastation. It's devastation for someone who's so close to his family to just disappear like that. There's no way to describe it." Now, according to law enforcement, Williams is a black male with a light complexion, 6 foot, 150 pounds, with short black hair, brown eyes, and a birthmark on his throat. Well, obviously, you can see that he's a light-skinned black male. Now, who he played in the MJ the Musical was Marlon Jackson. And he also performed in the ensemble of Hamilton. So anyone who has any information is urged to call the Richland County Sheriff's Department. And I'll hold on, because I was not expecting to have to create this, but I'm gonna do this on the fly. So that way that y'all can have that information up. So it says that anyone who has any information call this following number. So if you happen to see the number at the bottom, if you have any information, and I'm going to cut this up later on and I'm going to add it as like a separate post. So that way, for those who aren't sitting here watching the full show and aren't even aware of this segment that I'm doing, what I'll do is I'll put that out there so that way people can see and then they can do what they need to do. So if there are any people out there, if you have any information that you could share, please call the Richland County Sheriff's Department at 803-576-3000 or contact Crime Stoppers at CrimeSC, which I'm assuming is South Carolina.com. So I say all this to say, good, my condolences and shout out to the family. I'm not saying condolences if he's gone, but my heart breaks for anybody who has to lose their child and it's like there's no closure. You don't even know where your kid is. And then kudos to the people out there that are searching far and wide for this young man. So kudos to the family and shout out to the family, and my heart breaks for you guys. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, and if you have any information, please call that number. But in the meantime, also let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. Okay, so Ron says, yeah, it's sad. His mother lost 2 of her daughters in an automobile accident. Really? I did not know that that happened. That his mother lost 2 of her daughters and now a son. Like, can you imagine? Like, you're literally burying all your children. That has got to be the most devastating thing. I remember that happened to my aunt when she had to bury her only child, who was pretty much unalived by his baby mother's brother, and she was in on it, and they both went to jail. But when they found out what the tea was, he was sitting on the porch, came to visit his daughter and everything. Brother came up and shot him, and that's just this is what I just like. That's just insane. Like, especially like if you have multitude of children and then you go and you have to bury your kids, and then it's like you can just imagine. And that to me, it just makes me think about Lisa Marie Presley, because it was like how she died of a broken heart because her son died of a drug overdose, and how she had him on ice in a freezer before she had him buried. I'm like, that's crazy. That just goes to show like that deep connection that she had specifically with one of her children. Robo says, so glad you're covering his disappearance. I wonder if black media hasn't covered it sooner. That's what I was thinking too. I want to say that, but I mean, I was thinking it. But yeah, I do think it might be rooted in homophobia. The fact that I don't want to stereotype and say he looks like a gay guy. I mean, he clearly is gay, but I do feel like this is what it is. He's black. He's a black gay man, and a lot of y'all feel like black gay lives don't matter. So, and we've seen this play out. Black lives matter unless you're gay or trans. So yeah, the black blogs, y'all know who y'all are. Y'all are not covering this, and 2 of them are run by homosexuals. So you got the Neighborhood Talk and Hollywood Unlocked. I haven't seen none of them post anything about this. So. But I'm not over here to tell other people how to do their job. They can sit up here and talk about stupid beefs between rappers and things that nobody cares. That's sensational fluff that's going to get you all the numbers. But I'm going to do my due diligence over here because this is my show. So, yeah, I do get irritated when there's not enough black media that covers a lot of these type of stories, because And like I've been saying over the years, especially watching how a lot of blogs, well, not even a lot of blogs, but how there's so many stories regarding indigenous or people of color whose stories go untold, while little Amber, with her little blonde hair and blue eyes, go missing for 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's a whole, the whole world is oh my god, this poor girl. You know how the media is. Ron says, right, black media haven't really put this story out there. They haven't. So that's why I was like, I definitely have to cut this up and post it online. So I'll probably have to do that when I get back from the Billie Eilish concert. Okay, so now let's get into our final topic, chair. Let's talk about Giorgio Armani, who's talking about his love of the Payne. Now, I was like, first of all, I didn't even know. Well, I guess because I don't really be paying attention to designers like this, but he's getting real candid about his love of same gender, situations. I was like, let me pull this picture up. I was looking far and wide for a Giorgio Armani photo too, because I typed in Giorgio Armani on Twitter, and it kept coming up with Cooper Koch and a bunch of other celebrities. He took a photo. It was him, another female model, I believe, and then it was Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm like, first of all, y'all not gonna have these two men with their big old penises taking a picture together. Can you imagine a sausage fight? The sword fighting that be going on between these two. That's a sausage fight, but it'll be sausage fest. But anyway, so it says nearly 25 years of silence. After nearly 25 years of silence, iconic fashion designer Giorgio Armani is finally breaking his silence about the sexual experiences he's had with men throughout his long life. The fashion mogul, I had no idea he was 90 years old, hasn't opened up about his sex life publicly since 2000, when he told Vanity Fair that he has had women in my life and sometimes men. So he might be, I guess, if we had to label, bisexual. So now his brand new interview with Corriere della Sera, the designer worth an estimated 13 billion. Jesus, that man got money. Let me go marry Giorgio Armani. I'm tired of working. I want to be like, what's his name? Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein like him young, but I guess younger than me. But anyway, so I guess that ship has sailed. But I'm gonna shoot my shot with Giorgio. I like your fashions. I like your little suits. But anyway, so it's opening about losing her virginity, realizing he is attracted to men for the first time, and the powerful relationship he's had with his business partner. Ooh, what y'all doing? Armani admitted that he lost his virginity to a girl in his class before describing his first gay crush while he was away at summer camp. I've never talked about this, he revealed, according to Pink News. It happened under a shed on the beach in Misano at 5 in the afternoon, where all the boys from the summer camp were supposed to have a bit of a quiet time. Oh, see, now if I would have scrolled down on here, I would have came across this Giorgio Armani photo. It's the same one that I'm showing y'all, but let's go over to his Instagram. But that's where it was like that I had saw it. But anyway, let's continue. So they said the guy Armani was crushing on was his camp counselor. Ooh. And while he didn't elaborate on what actually went down on the beach, it was a moment that changed the trajectory of his life. He said, I was in a group of boys and there was a supervisor, a young man who I felt immediately attracted to. I didn't fully understand it at the time and I didn't pursue it, he said. But from that moment on, my life took a different turn. The early gay awakening was confusing for Armani, who still didn't fully understand his own feelings. Saying, I didn't understand what it was. I didn't distinguish between men and women at the time. It was just an attraction. I felt something beautiful. I couldn't wait to be near him, to be touched. I felt a huge connection, he said before admitting that this was the first time he has ever told this story. And I think sometimes, like, you don't understand what that is. You just know, like, you have this connection with someone, be it someone of the same gender or someone of the opposite gender. It's like, I don't know what this is, but I just need to be around you at all times. I just want to be near you. I just want to smell you. I just want to touch you. And it's not even about sex. It's just about this emotional connection. And that's always the way that I always looked at same gender situations. When I first became aware that I was attracted to boys, it was like, I just want to be around you. I just want to be connected to you. It's some sort of emotional intertwining of souls and spirits kind of thing. So he says that things changed when he met his business partner and lover, Sergio Gagliotti, who he dated for more than a decade. He says, we met near the Capanina nightclub in Versilia, where I was on holiday for a couple of days. I saw Sergio in his car and I immediately fell for his Tuscan smile. The two men were in a relationship throughout the 70s and 80s, but sadly ended when Armani divested when Galeotti passed away from an AIDS-related illness in 1985. He says, when Sergio died, a part of me died with him. I'm still amazed that I found within myself the resilience to withstand such an immense pain. He said before recounting how difficult it was to watch Galeotti get sick. I had to tap into my willpower to deal with all the pain and anguish. A whole year spent next to Sergio in his hospital bed, and it all happened as our career was taking off. When we were becoming known, setting up our company, reaching worldwide fame, it was the moment I was gaining confidence in myself when this blow hit me. So this is a picture with Mr. Armani and Mr. Pantaleo Dell'Orco, head of the men's style office for all collections. Giorgio Armani, Emporio Armani, and Armani Exchange posed together with the models. And I have to say, I love Giorgio Armani's fashions. He's one of my favorite designers, among others. Now, Armani is in a relationship with, as you can see in the picture, Leo Dell'Orco, who is head of the men's style office for his fashion brand. Now, while the two aren't married and Armani won't say he's in love with his partner, he wears a wonderful ring with a diamond, and he once had to save from a fire, saying, I think it over and realize there's no point in being in love and giving it so little space because I just don't have that much space. But if I had deep affection for Leo, who has lived with me for years and is the person closest to me. And I feel like that maybe he's not going to fully be like, well, yeah, I'm in love or whatever, is because of the love that he had prior had left him due to AIDS complications. And you never forget your first love. You're always going to hold that person in your heart. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, we have what we have, but I don't want to put a thing on it. Because, it's about that fear of your heart being broken again. So I totally get that. But I hope, well, Giorgio, sir, you are 90. So I really hope, I don't want to laugh, but I'm just like, I just hope it gets to a point where, should you kick the bucket, that you have everything put in place where you want whoever to have what they have. But others say, well, you're technically not married, so therefore you don't get this. I said, well, if my will says that I want certain people to have certain things, then it needs to be abide by what I want and who gets to take over whatever. So I'm sure that Leo is probably going to take over the Armani brand, the whole empire, should something happen to Giorgio. So I'm glad that he actually told this side of his story because, I always love hearing stories about this, especially from a lot of the elder gays, of what it was like to be a homosexual or even a bisexual in like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. That's what I always like hearing those type of stories. I even like watching documentaries about people like Tab Hunter and a lot of those type of stories with the celluloid closet and a lot of the older gays and what they were dealing with in those days and how far we've come in regards of homosexual acceptance and what that was like when you were in love and you fell for someone of the same gender and like the hiding and the things that y'all did. So I always like hearing those stories. I'm always fascinated when a lot of the older people tell those type of stories. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think. So let me know what y'all think of said story in the comments down below. All right, so we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'll see if I'll give y'all a show tomorrow. Don't quote me on it. If not, I'll come on Sunday. But yeah, I just want to come on and give y'all a quick show because I got some running around to do. I'm going to go ahead into the city, do a quick workout, and then I got to go work this Billie Eilish show again. And, all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, love you all. Thank you for everybody who was in the live chat with the comments and all that good stuff. I love y'all. Trying to like those people with all that facial stuff with the fake lip. You know how they do all that foolishness. It's always funny to me when they do that. But anyway, love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.